Controlling the pace when it mattered. It's one game, but it's an important start. The Avalanche grabbed the opener and head into Game 2 with a lead in hand. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
When there are supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You saw it with fuel prices, with the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And you know what else is a limited commodity? Gold. They mine it out of the ground, and when it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't just print more of it. That's why everyone from central banks to savvy savers are diversified with gold. If you've been thinking about it for years, but have still never moved some of your savings into physical gold, Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you. Stan Bongino, and now through May 29th, Birch Gold is giving first-time gold buyers a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and a free information kit on diversifying into gold, text Dan to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text Dan to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to $10,000. Again, text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
If you're feeling exhausted with no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. Book a free testosterone test at Low T Center and see if you qualify for TRT, customized to you. Choose self-pay or insurance, and even have your treatment shipped to your door. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
No tax returns, no W-2s, no kidding. We have expanded our guidelines to help even more people qualify for a loan to buy a home or save money on one they already own. Call U.S. Mortgages at 303-LOW-RATE.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th.
As a mother myself, I'll tell you, she's not going to remind you. She's way too busy being mom.
Which is why we are. Make your Mother's Day unforgettable with a little something truly special from Williams Jewelers.
Prices start at under $500, and we have thousands of fine jewelry choices from names she knows and loves like Marco Biccigo, Paul Morelli, and Goshwara.
How about a beautiful diamond cross or precious sterling or gold locket for mom?
A Monica Rich Kozan locket with the kids' pictures inside will become a family heirloom she'll cherish for life. We promise.
This Mother's Day, come home to family.
Come home to Denver's first family of fine jewelers, Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche. In Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue, and right now online at WilliamsDiamonds.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by the Colorado Lottery. Play on.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Hanging out with you on a Monday, May 4th. Reacting to one of the craziest hockey games that you will ever see. And I mean that in the most literal sense. One of the most psychotic playoff games in the history of the sport. No hyperbole. Just factual, and we'll get into all the numbers why that is exactly that, a fact. Welcome in James Merilatt filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. What up, James?
What's happening, Zach? It was a wild, wild game. Not just because it was 9-6. It was how those 15 goals were scored. They just came in bunches. We were talking about it during the crosstalk. Nothing happened in the first 10 minutes of the game.
No.
It's 0-0. And all of a sudden it's 3-0 Avs. Like, oh, okay, this is going to be a laugher. And you blink, and 2 minutes later it's 3-2, and it continued like that through the second period. It was a crazy game, a lot to feel good about. One of the main things is going to be a heck of a lot more entertaining series to watch than Avs Kings.
Yeah,
just the two styles of these teams.
Totally.
Not that we're going to see 9-6, but we're not going to see 2-1 every single night either, which will be much more entertaining to watch. But plenty of good things. The Avs look like themselves.
Offensively.
Defensively, and I know some of it was, once Makar got hurt, they were kind of mixed and matching who was out there defensively. But, they had some breakdowns, and it's not all on Wedgie. I don't want to be labeled as that guy who's blaming it on him. But
yeah, there's a lot of context.
You give up 6 goals as a team.
Yeah,
there's a problem.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily matter that you won 9 or scored 9. It's nice that you scored 9. It's nice that you got the win. But let's not just brush away the fact that they gave up 6. That's something that's going to have to be fixed, and I'm sure it's something that Jared Bednar was not happy about at all.
No, and you could just see in the post game. I mean, shoot, he goes up there and he's asked, "Hey, how do you explain what you just saw?" And he goes, I can't. Don't ask me to. I think when they go back and look at this thing, I think the most important thing is you won the game, right?
Yes.
Your offense was a bit of a sleeping giant there in that first series against Los Angeles for reasons that we talked about and understand. Just styles makes fights. That was the dynamic of that series. But you do what it takes to win, right? And they swept them. And now they're 5-0 in the postseason, right? Your goal is to get to 16 Ws. And here you are with 5 in your front pocket without drawing blood yet. But I know that when they go back and look at this thing, you're happy the night of, you scored 9 goals, everyone went home happy. But you go back and look at it, it's like there's going to be a lot of stuff to clean up. A lot defensively.
Yeah.
Because that was not a championship level defensive, not even close.
It was not. And you can't count on that kind of offensive outburst to carry you and make up for the defensive breakdowns. And there were a lot of them. Minnesota had more.
They did.
I mean, how do you lose track of Cale Makar off a faceoff? If you're a Wild fan or you're on that team, you're like, what are they doing? That's a guy you probably ought to keep track of.
Well, there was a lot of how did that happen? I mean, on the Wild's first goal, Brent Burns, I don't know what he was doing. He just completely drifted away from net front, and it's just wide open. Nathan McKinnon comes off his feet. You're on a power play, and you give up a 2-on-0. How do you give up a 2-on-0 on a power play? That should be impossible, but they're seeing is believing.
Yeah, Burns had a rough night.
He did.
When Manson comes back and you start, hey, who's going to be dressed and who's not, that might be the change. He didn't have a good night.
We'll see about that.
I'll
believe that when I see it.
He was slow to the puck, late to the play multiple times, where it's almost like he just kind of stopped.
Yeah, he
was. And was sort of coasting behind the play. It's like, Minnesota didn't stop here, guy.
Now he did have a couple big moments late down the stretch when it got a little bit weird. But it was not good. I don't want to misrepresent it.
And look, I'm not blaming Wedgwood completely, but on social media I got a lot of grief for saying I told you goaltending's the biggest issue.
Wait, you said I told you so?
I know.
You're
hard to believe.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hard to believe. I said I tried to warn you. So if it's not Wedgwood, which is fine,
my God.
Okay, I'll take everyone's word for it. Then you got to point the finger of blame at someone. or multiple someones, right?
Well, here's the thing. I think when you give up 6 goals in a playoff game, it can't be just on one person. And if it was, I think Bednar would have yanked him. There's a lot of context to what was happening in front of him. I think that it's you don't think that it's just all on no, and you preface that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, once Makar went out, they were kind of mixing and matching, especially in the
but he was out for just the first period.
I know, it just felt like it kind of threw things off for a little while. But like the last goal that Wedgwood gave up, right? That was the one that was just kind of bouncing, and it bounced right over his shoulder.
That was kooky.
It was kooky, but it's also right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple other goals where, there was a screen and he never would have seen it. Like, what are you going to do?
Correct.
I get that. I'll excuse those.
But there was a few of them, and there was a few of them that was on him. I'm not his defense attorney. Like, he's got to be better. He
definitely has to be better.
But both things are true, right? The guys in front of him have to be better, and he's got to be better.
Yes, but there were definitely defensive breakdowns. It wasn't his best night. Is that fair to say?
Definitely not.
He wasn't standing on his head. He made a couple of nice saves in the third period. Once they started building the lead again to not allow Minnesota to get back in the game. But I still think, and I don't know why this is a controversial thing to say, that goaltending is their biggest concern. Something has to be.
Well,
if you list your concerns, something's at the top.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not saying it shouldn't be discussed, but this is a new topic. Like this is based off last night's game. This is someone in Scott Wedgwood that led the entire National Hockey League in save percentage and goals against average. And how many even strength goals did he give up in the first round? Legitimately, I think was it 5 even strength goals given up in 4 games. So you have last night. I'm in agreement with you. It's got to be better. Wasn't close to good enough. But this is a relatively new, are you advocating for pulling him out of the goal? Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
Not at all. I've just been saying it for weeks.
Saying what?
The fact that they don't have a clear number one goaltender is a concern. Because I think, typically speaking, historically speaking, when you go into the postseason, or if we pulled up every Stanley Cup champ over the last 30 years,
they almost all have a guy. They have a guy.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that the Avs don't, and I get all the stats, and that's what people came back to me with, and I buy all that. He had a really good season. But Jared Bednar wouldn't name him the definitive number one for a reason. Now, we can debate whether or not he should have, but he didn't. And that leads to the conversations we were having 20 minutes ago of, do you make a switch? When do you make a switch? Maybe they'll make a switch. I don't think that's an ideal situation. I just don't.
Well, it's not ideal, but it is the situation that you have now. Because I agree with you. You would love a Vasilevsky or a Waugh or a Hasek or a fill in the blank.
Sure.
But you don't. So, this is the situation. I want to clarify something real quick. Scott Wedgwood did not give up 5 even strength goals in the first round. He gave up 2. 5 total goals, 2 of which I believe were 6-on-4s. And then another on a power play, and so for a total of 5 at 2 at even strength. Here's what I'll say. I think that Wedgwood, based on a season of sample size, has earned the benefit of the doubt for game number 2. But I won't go beyond there. I'll say that. This is not a lifetime contract. Blackwood's supposed to be the starter. Wedgwood has played above the X's and O's, but it's got to get better because you can't placate to any previous structure or schedule or foresight or forecast. You have to this is why Jared Bednar makes the big bucks, right? You have to have the sensitivity to who this guy is right here, right now. But I think he's earned the benefit for game 2.
So if he has another subpar game, the clock will have struck midnight, and it's time to make the switch.
I mean, when you say make the switch, you go into game 3, potentially. Not it's Blackwood's job now. You can't operate like that. I think that you have to have your fingers on the pulse of this thing and be super sensitive to it and adjust accordingly.
Okay, I just think the 2 most important positions in all of sports, quarterback is number 1, goaltender in the playoffs is number 2.
Oh, I can't go with you there. But okay.
Maybe a closer in baseball, right? Ask the Rockies. They had a rough weekend when it came to late in games, but I think a goaltender, you can ride a goaltender to a cup. You can.
It's been done before, but I think that I wouldn't put the value of a goaltender side by side with a quarterback. There's a reason that these goaltenders don't go in the first round. They don't go number 1. They don't go top 10.
And I put them in that order for a reason, right? Quarterback's number 1. It's clearly number 1. but it's an important position. You wouldn't want to be going into the playoffs like, they're gonna switch back. They're gonna, if he has a bad half, bad game.
It's not ideal. But what I'll say is it's not ideal not because of both guys suck. Both guys are pretty good. And there's some lack of clarity there. Well, let's take a timeout. We'll continue this conversation coming up next.
The Nuggets season is over as the shorthanded Timberwolves send the Nuggets home. Jamal Murray, nowhere to be found. Jaden McDaniels jawed all series, then proved it on the floor. This was supposed to be a run. Instead, it's an embarrassment. And now as banners fade and questions roar, are franchise-altering changes coming to the Mile High City? This offering promises chaos, tough decisions, and a radically different future. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close in as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. 1 manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
I'm Drew Carney, anchor with 9 News. I love the Denver sports scene and living just 20 minutes from Red Rocks. I'm here to get you ready for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Covering breaking news that affects you and your family. Getting you the information you need right when you need it. Across the Denver Metro, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Colorado's #1 streaming newscast. 9 News Mornings, weekdays starting at 4:30.
The Tree Farm's early spring tree and shrub sale, now through Mother's Day. Get 3-year-old trees, easy to haul, carry-out sizes, including 7 to 8 foot tall autumn blaze maple, now only $139.99. 8 to 10 foot tall sunburst honey locust trees are now only $139.99, and 6 to 8 foot Honeycrisp apple trees now only $139.99.
You
Come
take
see.
I-25 to exit 235. Then 5 miles west to the Tree Farm.
Plumline Services, serving Colorado since 1998 for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Service at home, servants at heart.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, just to continue the conversation that we were just having, and there's so much more to this than just the goaltenders, obviously, but it's been a big theme of the season. Just to put a bow, because I want to talk about some other stuff from last night's game, but to put a bow on it for now, and maybe we can get some of our listeners involved a little bit later in the show, but you'd move forward with Scott Wedgwood for Game 2, James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. You'd move forward with Wedgwood for Game 2 the way that I would. Do I have that right?
Yes. Yep.
And then we'll see.
No, I would. That's been my criticism of Jared Bednar. I just would name him my #1 goaltender, and he's my guy. Barring injury, Wedgwood is our goaltender. That's what I would have done late in the season, certainly heading into the postseason, because then you wouldn't be having these conversations. We would know, Blackwood's going to sit there on the bench unless Wedgie gets hurt. I think that's a.
And if he struggles mightily, so hold on. Do you agree he struggled mightily last night?
He struggled. I don't know that I'd put mightily on.
Okay.
It. I think there were a couple of them he should have stopped. That I thought that 6th goal was kind of laughable, but there were a couple of those goals that nobody would have stopped it.
Yeah.
He never could have seen it. There was so much traffic in front of him. So I wouldn't say he struggled mightily, but he struggled.
Volstad struggled mightily.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that guy, that's the right word for it.
5 of his 9 goals were low danger. Were classified as low danger
goals.
Well,
and the 2 from Makar were the exact same shot.
Yep.
And the one
he's got it going, by the way. Kale,
oh my gosh,
Kale looks like 2022.
He does. But like Volstad was way too far to his left.
Yep.
And he was trying to peek around whatever defender was in front of him. I couldn't see the number. He's trying to get a vantage point, but he's all the way to the left to where he can only cover half the net. And then Kale just goes the other direction, and he did it on both shots. But yeah, I would feel better, and it's probably semantics, Zach, but I would feel better if I just knew that's their guy. That's who they're riding. There's no questions after every game of, hey, they maybe going to change him, not change it. Just nope, that's our guy barring injury. I would feel better if that was the situation.
All right, well, we'll see how Jared Bednar handles all of this. I think the door is open for Blackwood to play in this series in a way that it wasn't in the first series because the evidence was so overwhelming. Like, wow, Wedgwood's just playing out of his mind. So we'll see. We'll see. They've had a tandem all year. Bednar said what he said for a reason. If Wedgwood struggles again, I think you'll see the follow through for some of those comments that no, they're a tandem and we'll proceed like that moving forward. Actions over words, though, right? Always, I say that a lot on the show. Actions over words. So we'll see. What the is Bednar going to get a sort of a litmus test from the locker room? Talk to Landeskog. There's a lot to it. So we'll see. We'll continue to monitor it. What else stuck out to you last night? I thought a couple things for me. One, just to piggyback on what I just said a second ago. Cale Makar, who gets knocked out of the game in the first period. And, I mean, that man was, like, ass over tea kettle. Like, his legs were in the air to the point where, like, so it was right in front of us, but through my angle. And I don't know how it looked on TV. But it looked like Cale's skate was so high, it almost, like, was by the dude's face. I'm like, is he about to slice this man's face? He leaves the game, comes back, and was just brilliant. After sitting out most of the first period, he was brilliant. And he looks like the 2022 version. Like the level of defenseman and the level of play from defensemen last night. Quinn Hughes, I mean, that guy is sensational. And to see him share the same ice as Cale, but also with Taser. And Taser hasn't been the best year for Devon Tays, but he looks like the 2022 version of himself. I thought that was a really fun dynamic to watch unfold last night.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway last night was the stars played like stars, right? Like, McCarr was great. I thought Val's pass.
Oh, that was the best play of the evening for me.
Unbelievable. That was an unbelievable pass, and I know he didn't get on the score sheet other than that. He didn't get a goal, but that was an amazing pass.
And that was on the Blankenberg goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought Kadri's goal
filthy.
was a big-time play.
He looks healthy again. He did not look healthy in the first round, and I think that rest paid off dividends for him.
McKinnon's was an empty netter. I mean, it was almost length of the ice, but still
kind of impressive.
It was.
They're
it was
so
dead
accurate.
center.
I know.
I mean, that thing. If they were doing one of those promotions, like at a basketball game where you got to hit it through the
little
the
slot
width of a puck, he would have made it. I thought he was great. It was one of those nights where, all right, the stars came out to play. It was a continuation of Game 4, especially late in Game 4 against LA. Because against LA, first 3 games, the Avs didn't look like the Avs. Game 4 is when they started putting it away. Okay, they were playing like themselves. It was where there just felt like there was space on the ice.
Totally, it opened up.
Last night almost felt like both teams were playing 4-on-4 all game.
Yeah.
So that was really encouraging. There was way more encouraging things than discouraging things. We focused on the goaltender a lot just because I do think that's a storyline coming out of it.
It is.
But yeah, the fact that those guys all answered the bell, they look like the Avs is like, okay, this team, we said this about the Nuggets a lot. I hate to say it with the Avs because I don't want to jinx them. I have a hard time thinking of a team that's going to beat them 4 times in 2 weeks.
Me too, James. I don't see it.
Me either.
I don't see it. And there's some awesome teams out there, and Minnesota's one of them. Now, I don't want to get caught in the trap. That some of us did after Game 1 of the Minnesota Timberwolves series. That when I came in here, my guy Cecil Lammy, no shade, absolutely not, but he's like, I think we just saw Minnesota's best punch. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Hold on. I don't want to get caught in that trap here because these series can flip with the quickness. But you can't get better than after 5 Stanley Cup playoff games being 5-0. But in big picture, I just continue to believe that we're going to have a parade. We're going to have it's that version of Kale, it's that version of Taser, and it's that version of Netchus. We haven't said his name yet, but Marty Netchus. Like if you're watching the games and you know what you're looking at, and you're not just poring over a box score whether he scored or not, the way that he drove offense last night to start the game. Who scored first? It was Malinsky. Netchus coming down and the patience and threading the needle the way that he did to put it right on his tape to get the party started. And did you guys see him last night? There was so much open ice. Netchus is damn near like a Olympic figure skater. Like I can't remember the last time like I saw someone multiple times in the same game enter the attacking zone skating backwards. I mean, he was a ballerina last night. And, I thought he was really good too, James.
He's just all over the ice. It feels at times like he never comes off the ice. It feels at times like there's multiple guys out there wearing that sweater.
Yeah.
Because he just seems to be everywhere. The other thing was, and I just like the way his game has evolved, Gabe Landeskog just gets in front of the net.
Yeah.
And does the dirty work.
Yep.
And for a guy that, used to be in that conversation of when we start listing their star players, and he still is in terms of name, and he's the captain and all the rest of those things, but he's not one of their 5 or 6 best players anymore.
No.
He's just not.
No.
But, man, he's probably one of their 5 or 6 most important. I'm not going to go Mike Evans and say that he's not.
He's one of the most important people in Denver sports. Who they are with and without him, it's remarkable. During the break, you were just quoting to me the record.
Their record with him in the lineup this year is 50 wins and then 7 losses and 8 overtime wins. 50, 7, and 8. That's crazy.
Not bad for...
He has been an underachieving disappointment.
Not bad.
I mean, if at that pace over a 82-game season...
Yeah.
136 points. I mean, it's ridiculous when he's on the ice. So yeah, way more things that were positive last night. Taves was good.
He was really good, James.
He had one of his better games. So
a goal and 3 assists for a 4-point night. More than half of their goals, they scored 9 goals, and 5 came from defensemen. Blankenberg had a goal. Kale had 2. Malinsky got the party started, and Taser had one. That is insane.
I think that was. I mean, last night was just one historic moment after another. Like the broadcast could hardly keep up with it. I think that was one of them they mentioned, though, it was the first time in however long that 4 defensemen scored in a playoff game. You had 14 different guys score the 15 goals.
Crazy.
McCarr's the only one who got on the score sheet twice.
Crazy.
It was just a wild night. It's not going to be that way, obviously, 9-6 the rest of the way. But it is going to be like when they played Edmonton a couple of years ago.
Sure.
Where it's more those kind of games than when you play LA, even when you play Dallas and some of these other teams. It's going to be wide open hockey, and I think it sets up well if they play Anaheim in the next round, because that's how Anaheim's going to play too.
Yeah, and you remember how that series against Edmonton played out.
Well, I remember the 8-6
you remember what the series?
Game.
Yeah, you remember what the series was though?
I don't.
Western Conference Finals, clean sweep.
They swept them that year?
Swept their ass.
I mean, I remember the 8-6 game. I remember Evander Kane became public enemy number 1 in this town.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that being a sweep.
Swept them.
Wow.
Okay. Albeit, I do not believe you're sweeping Minnesota.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. Minnesota's a good team.
They are.
And it sets up for, and look, we're coming at it from Colorado's standpoint, so sign me up for the sweep. But if you were just watching that game as a casual hockey fan or just the national audience, okay, buckle up. This is going to be a fun series.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we'll get to more of that because I have plenty more thoughts from last night and some storytelling that we'll get to. But in the meantime, what did we make of the video that Bo Nix shared on social media? We'll get to that next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here. If you're looking for the ultimate place to post up for a big game, make it the Basketball Social House Bar and Grill in Centennial. Guys, it's your headquarters for every upset, every buzzer beater, every goal. That's right, all the sports are on at the Basketball Social House. The place is unreal, guys. Award-winning food and drinks, a brunch that is a must, and it's not just another sports bar. This is the first of its kind sports bar and entertainment experience. Literally the only one like it in the world, and it's right here in Centennial. And listen, you don't have to be a hooper to love it. The vibe, the energy, the menu, it's all next level. But if you do want to play, you can book your own private basketball suite with a court, lounge seating, music, TVs, the whole deal. It's perfect for watch parties, team hangouts, or just leveling up your night. And for big games, you're covered, guys. They have the best happy hour in Colorado every day, 7 p.m. till close. You can find them at 7450 South University Boulevard in Centennial, or check them out online at thebasketballsocialhouse.com. And because you heard it from me, use the code HALFOFFHOOPS for half off your first-time private basketball suite rental. Trust me, guys, this place is a slam dunk.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, Kids will grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you'll actually won't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issue before you even notice them. It's like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats, all with our best equipment and no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings attached. So even though your kids will grow up, your internet stays sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. 5 years, same price. Lock in reliable fiber-powered gig Wi-Fi for effortless streaming. Plus, get Disney, Hulu Bundle, Peacock Premium included on us. To get started, call, visit Xfinity.com, or drop into an Xfinity store. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Peacock Premium included for 3 years. Programming subject to change in availability. Actual speeds may vary. Xfinity Internet is powered by fiber and connected to the
Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, shifting gears from the Avs, which rightfully has dominated our coverage here in hour number one. I was at the game, man. It was crazy on several levels.
Well, and you had 3 generations there.
Yeah, it was very
That
special.
makes for a fun night no matter what.
Yeah.
Then you get that kind of game. You're taking your father-in-law to his first ever professional hockey game.
In his 70s.
Yeah, he's in his 70s.
Had never been.
That's his first ever game. Talk about getting somebody hooked.
Come on.
It's like, you ever notice every time you go into a casino with someone who's never been, they seem to win. They seem to hit.
Sure,
and then they always think, boy, it's really this easy. You pick red or black. That's all you got to do. That's your father-in-law now when it comes to hockey games. It's like, yeah, there's goals all the time.
And I think it's crazy that 10 days ago into this microphone, I was literally saying, man, if you were going to introduce someone to hockey, it wouldn't be Avs and Kings. Like it was, I referenced the first game of the first round against Nashville in 2022 when they scored 4 goals in the first and there's 7 goals. It's like, this is awesome. You don't want to bring someone to a soccer game that ends 0-0.
No.
Right? It's like, this sport stinks. What are the goals even there for? So, to have that, and like I said, a little bit later in the show, I'll get into some storytelling because it was just a really fun night.
Although, I will say, I know we need to get to Bo here, but one of the best sporting events I've ever been to, I went over to London when the Broncos played over there with Russ. So 2 or 3 years ago, it's when he was doing high knees.
Yeah.
And like the Saturday before the game, we went to a soccer game.
Yeah.
0-0. One of the best sporting events I've ever been to. Just the atmosphere was incredible.
Sure.
I mean, there were a couple goals scored. They just got called back.
Yeah.
But, it could be entertaining. I wouldn't want to go watch that week in and week out. But,
Right.
First time I've ever been to an EPL game, it was pretty cool.
I'll take your word for it. We get this post from Bo Nix on Friday. I did not see it when I was on the air, and I don't know, like, timestamp wise when he posted it. Did he post it Friday morning, Friday evening? I'm not sure. But it's a bit of what the kids call is a photo dump, right? It's like, hey, this is what I've been up to, whether it's these last 6 months, this month, this last year, depending on who's who on social media, how often you post or whatever. And so he's got this photo dump, and I'll just describe to you some of the pictures. It's, he just had a new baby, so it's him with his baby. It's him with his baby outside in the winter. All right, it's him. Looks like he's given like a Bible study almost to some kids. It looks like maybe a first baptism type deal. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but it's him and his wife Izzy. It looks like at a church, big cross. And him at the Masters, just posting a video of a picture of the Masters, a video board type deal. So a bunch of stuff like this. But the last one, the very last one, is him sprinting. All right, and it's a beautiful day. There's sunshine, but it does not look recent. And I think our guy Mace was sort of on the case, talking about the foliage of the trees, and
they're pretty bare.
So it looks like it could be maybe at some point after the surgery, but before the most recent.
After the surgery, before the setback?
Well, it's not
maybe.
Setback. This was planned, James. This whole thing is going according to plan, don't you know?
Yeah, exactly what they were planning all along.
Oh my gosh, I do, man. And I almost feel bad in some ways to people that just like whatever you tell them, they're going to believe, regardless of the evidence.
Yeah,
and that happens a lot in our political world. Your political allegiances blind one eye. So even if the evidence is right over your left shoulder, I'm purposely going to blind one eye and look to the right at my favorite politician who I worship. And if he tells me that this is the case, this is the case. And by the way, it happens on both sides. Okay. Politically, I mean, the Broncos talking points. It's amazing. Cause I'll see it on social media, of like, you idiot. Like this was a planned surgery. And I'm like, okay. What did you make of the video? Because detective work is being done. And I think that if I were to speculate, it feels like Bo Nix might even be trying to project something that might not actually be the case. And that's just me deducing that could be the case. What did you make of this?
That's what it feels like. But the other part of it that was my number one takeaway is how the Broncos and Bo Nix continue to not be on the same page. It really wouldn't be that hard to have your stories straight here. Right, and we saw this at the end of the season when Sean Payton came out and said what he said, and then Bo threw a press conference. I think it was a Zoom call presser where he wanted to set the record straight. It's like, okay, well, they're not on the same page here. And then this one, the Broncos, it was early last week, right? Or maybe the week before, where it was, hey, had to go back in, had it cleaned up.
Yeah, it was the
right?
middle of last week.
And then here's Bo coming out and kind of going rogue and posting this video that now brings it back up and has people wondering, well, what's going on? Like, just get your story straight, fellas. How difficult is this to be on the same page? That was my biggest takeaway. Do I think Bo Nix was running last week?
No, of course
I do not.
Of course not.
Do I think that photo could have been late March, early April? Yeah, probably. But I don't think it was after he got it cleaned up. I think it was maybe after the first surgery, before whatever he got done after the Masters when Jim Nantz saw him walking around and looking fine. That's what I think happened. But
well, of course it wasn't this past week because it's like, well, the goal is to be ready for training camp, and if that's the case, then he's certainly not running like that. So
why post it,
James? That's a great question. And now there's speculation based on some of the physical evidence in the video that it may be from April. But not April of this year.
Correct.
It literally could be a year old. We'll share with you some of the physical evidence why that could be the case. Also, the latest report is that David Adelman will be back as Nuggets head coach. Aaron Gordon is in trade conversations. What is next on that front? We'll get to all of it as we're on the doorstep of 25 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
Colorado takes game one with authority. The Avalanche put up 9 goals and outpaced the Wild 9-6, setting the tone early in the series. Colorado's offense stayed aggressive all night, answering every Minnesota push and controlling the pace when it mattered. It's one game, but it's an important start. The Avalanche grabbed the opener and head into game 2 with a lead in hand. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
What's going on, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now thinking about popping that question this year to your special somebody. And if you're ready for all that, then you know you need a diamond. But let me add more to this. Mother's Day is around the corner. And whether it's your wife, your mom, or a mom who deserves something unforgettable, this is the moment to make her feel truly special. Let me save you some time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring or looking for a great Mother's Day gift, this is where it's going to begin for you. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their surface is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They're going to have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine in the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, but guys, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood, at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to let them know that Phillip Lindsay sent you.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040. Really proud of this case that we just settled. There was a young man very seriously injured. In fact, I had to go to the hospital and meet with him and his family. And we checked with the insurance companies while I was at the hospital, and they claimed no insurance coverage on either side. And on top of that, he had no medical insurance. So he was going to be facing about $400,000 in medical bills. And I said to the family, I said, I cannot make you any promises, but I know no other lawyer is going to touch this case because the insurance companies say they won't pay. But I want to try. Let me at least try. And I put my team at 303 Law 4040 on it, and they found $75,000 in insurance coverage that the insurance companies did not want to pay. So not only did we get them $75,000, but we also found a way to get them on Medicaid. So the $400,000 in bills was covered by medical insurance as well. We were proud. We fought for them. We'll fight just as hard for you if you ever need us. The number's 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need us. It's 303 Law 4040.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table. Lowest rate for life. It's our trademarked and most innovative product in the entire mortgage industry. Lock in your savings today, and if rates fall in the future, even as little as 0.5%, we will redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fee. Always have the best rate and maximize your savings. It's only at U.S. Mortgages, and our number says it all. 303-LOW-RATE. That's 303-LOW-RATE or online at usmloan.com.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Cheyenne Frontier Days, the daddy of them all, born out of the American frontier and still standing tall, the world's largest outdoor rodeo and authentic Western celebration. In the heart of the American West, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Come salute our American heroes in the air, in the arena, and in the streets of Cheyenne this July. For tickets, info, and updates, go to cfdrodeo.com. See you in Cheyenne.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Leading off with a big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you here on a Monday, May 4th, reacting to so much. We spent a majority of that first hour talking Avs, and rightfully so. I want to get back into that here shortly. James Merrillat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. Thanks for being here, dude. Really fun first hour. That was a blur.
For sure.
I want to put a bow on the Bo Nix conversation, no pun, and then shift gears into some of the things that we're hearing on the Denver Nuggets front. All right. So the Bo video, again, this is just sort of like, we don't think we're doing the Lord's work here, okay? But we're just sort of speculating because there is mystery. There's a certain degree of mystery or something lost in translation or interpretation with this whole Bo Nix injury thing. Again,
For sure.
This has been a big theme. I'll be honest with you, James. I feel like I'm on a bit of an island here in terms of my level of concern when it comes to Bo Nix's ankles in general. I understand he hasn't missed a bunch of time here in Denver specifically, but it hasn't been a lot of time. It's been 2 years. And after season number 1, he didn't go to the Pro Bowl because he had that ankle worked on. And in year number 2, it derailed a trip to the Super Bowl. Kind of a big deal. And I know I get told by some listeners, oh, you're being dramatic. Oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. I say, I don't know. I think another season-ending injury that prevents a trip to the Super Bowl is kind of like bigger than a molehill. We can start there.
Yeah. You said last week you were an 8
I was
on the panic meter, worry meter.
That's right.
And I was driving around listening to you and Phil, and I was right there with you. And I get it. He's missed one game out of 37. So that sounds like a pretty durable quarterback. But when you start listing his surgeries, this is 5 now on the ankle?
Correct.
High school, college, after his rookie year, and then 2 now after his second year?
Yeah.
Plus the back that he had to have done. I mean, that's a lot of times you're going under the knife. So give him credit because he's clearly playing through some stuff.
Hell yeah, he's a tough guy.
When he can. This was just one he didn't. But the other thing that you said during that conversation that I thought jumped out to me as to why it's concerning, he knew immediately what the problem was.
He did.
It's like, I've been here before, right? Like, there wasn't, I want to go in, get it x-rayed, get an MRI tomorrow. He knew exactly what the injury was.
He said on the sideline, mic'd up, you guys are going to play without me next week.
Yeah.
That's before he had his cleats off, James.
It's that familiar to him, so that's a little bit of a concern. But then with this photo, and we're all playing detective right here and trying to figure out, okay, when did he do it? When did he not do it?
And you talking about the video or the photo last week?
The video.
Okay.
Yeah, the video.
Because people were alarmed by the photo last week that was going viral, like the curvature of his leg.
Yeah, but the video that he posted Friday. Right? So May 1st kind of makes it feel like it's an April photo and video dump. I don't know if this is a fair term to put on it, but I'm going to throw it out there and see what you think. Don't you think it's a little misleading?
I'm not even going to give you too much pushback. I'm already the bad guy here because I'm so concerned. And by the way, I'm so concerned because I'm acknowledging Bo's stature within the organization. He's such a big deal. He's the Broncos quarterback. They finally found one. You have a $300 million decision to make here within the calendar year on his extension. So I feel like my concern level is meeting the moment. I understand I'm in the minority.
They're a 5-win team without him.
James, yes, and they were for a decade before he ever got here.
And there's also a reason why the Aaron Rodgers rumor came out on April Fool's Day, and Mike Florio said, this isn't an April Fool's joke. Like, you don't put that in the story if it's actually an April Fool's joke. Like, that's not how it works.
Agreed.
So that came out, and
but about the
tag.
But about the misleading thing, it does, gosh, I know how we're going to sound because, like, people worship Bo, and that's fan is short for fanatic. I got it. But yes, putting it alongside these recent photos does sort of, you want to put it out there that, I mean, I don't know, like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I think it's definitely strange. And you're trying to convince people you're fine. right? And if he just went under the knife and had it cleaned up, none of us believe he's out running and doing. They said he'd be ready for training camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? So clearly he's trying to give off a perception that doesn't match reality. So misleading does kind of sound nefarious.
Would it be more misleading if the picture was like a full year old?
Yeah. If it was an April photo dump and he just didn't tell us what April?
So, like, there is a thought out there, maybe a legitimate one, that this video is not close to recent, not like in between surgeries, like before the last season began. Drew, behind the glass, you, man, I gotta almost give it to you because I didn't think about it like this. I just kind of want to give you the floor and just sort of lay out like why you believe this might not be anywhere close to recent.
Well, it's funny because everybody's talking about like the lack of leaves on the tree, which is like a whole conversation you could absolutely look at and be like, all right, yeah, I see legitimately, you know what word I'm trying to say.
Legitimately.
There. Thank you, behind it. But I'm looking at the first thing that stood out to me about this photo is that you can see that kind of tannish bubble in the background, kind of in the top right-hand side of the picture.
Yeah.
That's the Randy Ross Tennis Center.
Right.
If you remember, when we were at training camp the last couple of years, we were outside of the Randy Ross Tennis Center between that and that internet building to right next to it.
Yeah, Ting, yeah.
You look at that picture right there, you can see both of them plain as day. Now, the problem with that is I just drove by the facility yesterday. The new training center area, the new awesome building they got going, wraps around along Broncos Parkway far enough to where you should not be able to see that internet building and probably not the bubble either. And yet, both of those are seen clear as day. Now, I remember being at a training camp last year going, okay, they haven't broke ground on that part of the facility yet, so we know that this video was at least after training camp last July, but they didn't just like suddenly make progress on this building to where it went up over the last month, 2 months, something of that nature. Like, this video has to be at least past training camp of last year, right? Like, old enough to be longer than training camp. It has to be. Because you wouldn't be able to see those two buildings the way that building wraps around, like the new training facility wraps around on Broncos Parkway there.
So here's the thing.
Good observation.
I really want to disagree with Drew here. I do.
Because I know it sounds crazy, right?
I know. But actually, when you talk it out, and physical evidence is physical evidence, right? Like, that's not, you're not speculating. Like, physical evidence is physical evidence outside of the OJ case. But so when he says it like that, like, I don't know what to say. After he explained it and we watch it in the video, it's like, damn, I think this video is like a year old.
Well, we're watching the video, we're pulling up Google Maps, right, and going to the satellite view and trying to see where things would be and where's that built and working on the angles.
We're in the weeds here. We're in the trenches.
Like, what are we doing here?
Well, by the way, like, if you look on Google Maps, you wouldn't really be able to tell. Now, if you go to Apple Maps, you can tell because you can tell where the footprint of the new building is. And when you look at it clearly, like, based off that, like, there's no way that this video is recent. There's absolutely no way.
But I think we all agree, right? Like, this video wasn't something that was shot after his cleanup.
No.
Okay, then if you're putting it out there, why are you putting it out there?
Well, I think it's the same reason that he called his own press conference and said that I'm not injury prone, I'm not predisposed. Like, he has almost like a miniature PR battle. And honestly, like, maybe it's against some. I'm not saying he's thinking of me, but maybe it's against like my sort of mindset of like, hey, this is really concerning. Like, anybody else, if Pat Mahomes had his ankles operated on for a fifth time, there's a lot of people in Broncos. He's cooked. Like, but here it's like the literal opposite. There's absolutely nothing to see here. I don't know. I'm yeah.
So he's trying to keep his value up with a big contract looming here in a couple of years, right? Like, hey, I don't want the perception to be that I'm injury prone. Okay, but a video in April isn't going to impact that. Don't hurt your ankle again this year. Not that it's his fault.
No.
But if he gets hurt week 3 and it's his ankle again, people that are in your camp that say it's a concern are going to have even more evidence to say it's a concern. If he plays the whole season, doesn't get hurt, they go to the Super Bowl or his season isn't cut short by an injury, nobody's, not that they're not going to have anything to say, but they're going to have less to say. So putting out this video in April doesn't really solve the problem. He can only solve the problem by going out and staying healthy.
Agreed.
That's it. So I just don't know why he would do it. I think it's a little misleading. I think if the previous quarterback had done this.
Oh, ooh.
right?
Yeah.
I think we would have all been pretty upset with him doing that. Listen, Bo Nix hasn't done near as many things that are cringeworthy and just drive you nuts. I mean, Russell Wilson hadn't had a training camp practice, and I sat in that chair and said, I have Russell Wilson fatigue. And there's nobody in this town who's a bigger supporter of Russell Wilson than me, and I was over it. That guy just went on and on and on with stuff. But let's not give Bo Nix a total free pass. This is a little...
I think misleading is the right word. And he's not doing anything criminally wrong, but I think he's trying to shape his own narrative because there is some noise and there is some people who are concerned. And again, and I feel like I need to say this, and I know I said it a handful of times last week, but it bears repeating because people hear what they want to hear. One, my concern level, I think, is a reflection of his importance to the franchise. I sat here for 7 straight football seasons without him, as did you, and saw what the product looked like. It was the worst stretch of Broncos football in the history of the team. New ownership group, new coach, and new quarterback, and it looks like sky's the limit. And so it looks like this could be a real big picture roadblock, but it is just that big picture. Because, I hear, like, I don't care about OTAs. He'll be ready for training camp. Like, that's cool. I expect him to be ready for training camp, too. This is supposed to be a 10, 12, 13-year road with Bo, and I just don't know if stuff like this gets better for a dual-threat quarterback who doesn't thrive in the pocket yet. And maybe this will forcibly have him adjust, but, like, I'm not talking about day one of training camp or week one. I'm talking about week 7, 2026, week 13, 2027. Like, these are big picture concerns, not in the minutia. Well, who cares about OTAs? Well, who does care? But, like, it's the larger 20,000-foot view.
But if he's trying to change the narrative, who's he trying to convince? You're not writing him a check. I'm not writing him a check.
Yeah.
Right? So the number one group that you need to convince, it's the current organization. It's the Broncos. Are they not telling him, hey, you're our guy. We're not worried about it? Because that's what they tell us publicly. Hey, everything went fine. It's not a big deal. We're not concerned about that. At least that's what Greg Penner says. Sean Payton had a little bit of a different message when he talked about it being a pre-existing condition and, it's just a ticking time bomb and all those kind of things.
Which I just can't shake too.
Me either.
And people act like Sean Payton was lying about that. It's it would have pissed me off if I was Bo, but at the same time, he's repeating what the surgeon said. And by the way, it's been the same surgeon every single ankle surgery. So if there's anyone knows Bo's ankles, it's
Correct.
Dr. Waldrop.
Correct. But if the Broncos were totally on board with Bo and his health and weren't worried about it at all, Bo wouldn't be worried about changing the narrative because he's worried about his $300 million contract, right? So it's like, well, I got to convince the Broncos, and if I don't convince the Broncos, then I have to convince another team. Otherwise, who are you trying to convince?
See, I'm not there.
Yourself?
I'm not there.
Not you, but Bo trying to convince Bo.
I think he's just feeling the pressure a little bit, just a little bit. Like what happened to Bo, his lack of availability, most everyone in Broncos country believes that if he was healthy, you go to the Super Bowl. Now, I wouldn't have picked him to win it, but I think they would have been there. And I think when you wear that kind of responsibility, if not burden, and you feel the pressure a little bit, and it's a week where it just came out that it's another ankle surgery, James, quite frankly, I'm going to keep it a buck with you here. I don't know what his objective was sharing that video because I can't really make heads and tails of what he was trying to accomplish. But what I do think I know is that it was a bit misleading.
Yeah.
To one degree or another, it's up to each fan to decide, but I agree with you. I think it misrepresents the rest of the context of the post.
Well, and he's trying to fool people, right? He's not fooling the Broncos. The Broncos know if he's running or not. He's not fooling himself. He knows if he's running or not. So it's the fan base, it's the media, it's other teams. But it's also like if you're trying to convince the Broncos long-term that, hey, I don't have an injury problem. They don't seem to care that J.K. Dobbins has an injury history. So it's like they really haven't shown you evidence, if you're Bo Nix, that this is going to be a problem in 2 years. I guess maybe next offseason they could start talking about this. But like this isn't something that they're trying to come up with the new deal right now. I mean,
it is next offseason.
Okay, so after his third year, if he plays an entire season, he's healthy. He doesn't have to have an ankle surgery at the end of the year. They have another great season. they're going to give him a big contract.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even going to be a debate.
No, and they should. If he stays healthy,
of course,
based on his body of work, he's earned it.
But if he gets hurt week 6 and he misses 11 games,
it's going to be a problem, yeah.
And they go, I don't know, 7-10?
He may end up, and I mentioned this last week, he might be a rare candidate for you finding your franchise quarterback who actually plays on the 5th-year option.
I could see that.
Because we don't see that in the current landscape. When you find your guy, you extend him. Like, who's the last, like, bona fide, like, someone, like, felt like they found a bona fide franchise quarterback and he played on the 5th-year option?
Well, more often than not, teams jump the gun, and they gave him the contract maybe when they shouldn't, right? They're trying to get ahead of it. So I could see that. I could see him, and look, it's worked out well for Kirk Cousins. Playing franchise tag to franchise tag to franchise tag.
Sure.
But you remember during his time in Washington, before he went to Minnesota, they weren't ready to commit huge money to him.
They were not.
So they say, hey, you know what? We'll overpay you for this year because we want to buy some time. And they did that multiple times. Who knows?
And your last quarterback, you did jump the gun and ate the worst contract in the history of the sport.
Correct. He never played a down of that contract in a Broncos uniform.
Correct. It's
not one.
Like literally unprecedented. So if that's the instance or your frame of reference, rather, for this ownership group leading up to this decision, we'll see. This is very interesting. And there are plenty of people who are out there saying there's absolutely nothing to see here. And I just do not believe that.
I don't believe that either. And look, I think it was misleading. I don't like it. I don't think it makes Bo Nix a bad guy. I don't think he was...
Of course it doesn't.
Being malicious with this?
No.
But
I think he's trying to craft a narrative.
Yeah, but there's also, I can say, hey, I think he's a good guy. I think he's a hard worker. He's probably out there doing all the right things.
In which I believe all of that as well.
And I can still say, this is kind of BS.
Yeah.
It's kind of BS to put that out there because there's a certain percentage of fans who aren't going to do what we did and go through this video with a fine-tooth comb and look at the leaves on the tree and break out the Apple map and the Google map and try to put this all together and see what's happening. They're busy in their day. They're just scrolling through and like, Bo's running.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
And here's the thing. He has the almost like carte blanche of like, I never told you when it was.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Plausible deniability.
Correct.
He
Correct.
I never lied to you.
It's just implied.
But exactly. He knows how everyone's going to take it, and he didn't do anything to make sure they didn't misunderstand it.
Yeah.
That's the part of it I don't like.
All right, let's leave that where it lies for right now. I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets here. The latest over the weekend.
David Adelman, their head coach, he is going to be back. His job is safe. The second order of business for the Nuggets this offseason is securing a long-term commitment from Nikola Jokic. He's eligible for a contract extension, 4 years, $290 million plus. The expectation on both sides is Nikola Jokic will be signing that when he's eligible in July, and they're going to move forward. But beyond that, there's going to be real roster changes coming to Denver to identify how they can surround Nikola Jokic with the right pieces to get this team over the top. Nikola Jokic said after that series loss against Minnesota, we're far away. We just lost in the first round. So they're going to get calls and listen to calls on everyone on the roster besides Nikola Jokic.
All right, that was Shams Charania of ESPN over the weekend. The official statement is that Adelman is coming back. As official as it can get without an actual written statement from the team. But all signs are pointing towards David Adelman will be back as head coach of the Nuggets. Man, I would be misrepresenting myself if I said into a microphone that this is great news. I don't think that it is. Although I'm not surprised that this is the news, if that makes sense.
I'm not surprised at all that it's the news. It's the team making the wrong move, though. And I know everybody thinks I just always want to fire the coaches. But it's easier to change coaches than it is to change the core of this team, right? Okay, they're going to make some moves, make some trades. Are you going to get top value for Aaron Gordon right now, considering he's coming off a season in which he played 36 games?
Of course not.
Are you going to get top value for Jamal Murray? Maybe, because he's coming off an all-star season.
Yeah, they'll look past the most recent game 6.
I mean, that was ugly.
But the larger sample says, you could.
The series was kind of ugly, though. Like, Minnesota exposes Jamal.
Yeah.
The physicality, he's not, he doesn't have top-end speed for a point guard, right? Like, it just is like such a struggle for him to bring the ball up when they're pressuring him full court or three-quarters court. I just feel like you're not going to get top value. Whereas the simpler thing to change would be, and I'm just using this as an example because he's a guy who's well accomplished in the NBA. It'd be much easier to get rid of David Adelman and bring in Steve Kerr. And see, does that change anything?
But that is never going to happen.
I get
ever.
it.
Like
I get
ever.
But you see what Nick Nurse is doing now. There's other guys out there who've won.
Yeah.
Right? And have that on their resume. You could go with a more seasoned NBA coach, Tom Thibodeau or somebody like that.
Sure.
Bring him in here and see if that makes a difference. And if it doesn't, it's the scientific method, right? You change one thing at a time and try and figure out, well, which variable made the difference. Changing the coach is easiest. If it doesn't change anything, then you know it. Yep, it is the players. And it probably is a combination of both. I don't think this was all David Adelman's fault.
Agreed.
But I guess I'll put it to you this way. If you just change the coaching staffs in this series, David Adelman and his staff is coaching Minnesota.
Yeah.
And all the injuries went the same way they did.
Sure.
And Chris Finch and Mike Inori and company are coaching the Nuggets. Who's playing tonight against San Antonio?
It's Denver.
Totally agree.
And I wish I had a different response to that. I mean, but this, it's almost not on Adelman. Like if I ask my son, who's 7, to cook my 4-year-old dinner, and we had a fire, that's not on my son. I should have never put him in that spot. And I never liked entrusting someone who has never done the job before. You were entering arguably the most important window of time in the history of the franchise. Arguably. The other one would be at the start of Jokic's career. This is the back half of his prime. I'd argue this is the most important because you didn't know Jokic was going to be Jokic when you first got him. So now you have the understanding that this is one of the 10 to 15 greatest players of all time, and who is going to be the steward of the second half of his career. And entrusting it to someone who had no experience based off an interim tag that was a 3-week period, I just thought was nearsighted initially. And then when you see some of the evidence here within the series, a different way of phrasing it, as opposed to switching he and Chris Finch, is, and I know I mentioned this last week, but if David Adelman became available today to every NBA team and they had an opportunity to swap out their coach for David Adelman, I think you'd go 0 for 29. And that should be a really good indicator on his standing and what your plan shouldn't be moving forward with him.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think anybody else would hire him. I didn't have an issue with the hire at the time, and it wasn't just because, hey, they went 7-7 in the playoffs, although he did a nice job, right? They rallied to beat the Clippers in the first round of the playoffs last year. They took the Thunder, the eventual champs, to 7 games, despite being really banged up. I mean, MPJ was hurt that entire series.
Mm-hmm.
AG, by the end of it, was on one leg. So it's like, okay, and you could make the argument to me, continuity, of they had a good thing going, let's not change the system. It was time to get rid of Michael Malone's personality. He'd rubbed everybody the wrong way in terms of just he's tough to deal with. So you could sell me on continuity. But that needed to be a short window. You can't just keep burning through Nikola Jokic years here.
Yeah.
And clearly continuity wasn't enough because they took a big step backward. They've had some embarrassing playoff performances in the Nikola Jokic era. This is at the top of the list.
It is.
It's hard to come up with a more embarrassing playoff performance from any franchise or any team in the history of the city.
Well, without going to the other teams, I mean, I think it's very fair to say it's the most embarrassing flameout of any postseason in the history of the Denver Nuggets.
If the Timberwolves don't have any injuries and they lose in the first round, I would have said it's time to move on from the coach. You had home court advantage. You're the 3 seed. They're the 6 seed.
James, they were a favorite in every single game.
Every game. Every single game. And they lost in 6. And they lost. Really.
They were blown out in game 6.
It was Rudy, and it looked like a G League team around him.
I know.
It really did. And I just don't know how you can be considered serious about winning if you watch that and just decide to run it back. I'm not saying you always have to be George Steinbrenner and you fire Billy Martin 7 times, but you kind of want an owner who is that way, of like, we're not putting up with that. That's not the standard.
That was unacceptable.
Exactly. It was completely unacceptable. And listen, I was over there for plenty of time. I heard a lot. We want to win and we want to make money, and not necessarily in that order. Okay, once again, KSE is proving that's the case, because they have a head coach right now with, maybe he's not the best player in the world anymore, but he's in the top 3.
He is.
You have that guy on your roster, and you have a head coach who's in the bottom half, bottom third, bottom 5 paid coaches in the league.
Oh, bottom 5 for sure.
Okay. And when they hired Michael Malone after he'd been fired by the Kings, he was in that same category.
He was, yeah.
When they hired Jared Bednar, he was the head coach of the Lake Erie Monsters.
He was, yeah.
He was in that same, okay, they didn't pay Masai Ujiri. They didn't pay Tim Connolly. It's not hard to see a pattern here because they want to win, but they want to make money more than they want to win.
I will give you what will be the pushback on that statement, although I agree with it. We'll get to that. Also, Aaron Gordon in trade rumors. That's all next.
The Nuggets season is over as the shorthanded Timberwolves send the Nuggets home. Jamal Murray, nowhere to be found. Jaden McDaniels jawed all series, then proved it on the floor. This was supposed to be a run. Instead, it's an embarrassment. And now as banners fade and questions roar, are franchise-altering changes coming to the Mile High City? This offering promises chaos, tough decisions, and a radically different future. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Are you one of those people who dread going to the dentist? If so, have you tried sedation dentistry? Learn more about sedation dentistry at coloradosedation.com. Sit back, relax, and dream with the most experienced sedation dentist and staff at Clarkson Dental.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I got an email from a guy named Mark, retired firefighter, tough guy. Never asked for help in his life, but he told me the rising cost of everything finally caught up to him. groceries, insurance, prescriptions. It was all hitting at once. And he said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm falling behind. I told him there's nothing to be embarrassed about because American Financing hears stories like this every day. They walked him through a refinance, looked at his whole financial picture, not just his credit card debt that had piled up. With a refinance, he learned he may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close in as fast as 10 days. Then he heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, and he said it felt like someone finally opened a window in a stuffy room. 1 payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped Mark make his equity his exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLS 18234, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
You're hearing this right now. So are your customers. That's radio. It still works. But your customers don't live in one place anymore. Tonight they're streaming Denver's biggest game on their TV. Tomorrow they're deep in the most popular podcast in the country. Next week, all 3, all over again. We built one campaign that reaches them everywhere. Radio, streaming TV, podcasts, all under one roof. All measured, all working together. That's not a pitch. That's a system. DenverSports.com. Let's build yours.
Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, let's come off the top rope with it. All righty. Happy Monday, everyone. Phillip Lindsay out today. James Marilat filling in. It has been a really fun 90 minutes doing this with you. Let's keep it rolling here. Aaron Gordon. Oh, actually, before we do that, the pushback to what you were saying about KSE at the end of that segment. Just go ahead and rephrase what you were saying, because people are always coming and going, and I want to respond to
Well, it's how their philosophy is: we want to win and we want to make money, not necessarily in that order, which means it's not in that order. They want to make money more than they want to win. I do believe they want to win. They don't have the need to win that some organizations have, where they'll spend anything they can spend. I don't even think it's fair necessarily to expect your favorite team to be in the red all the time. But I think when you've got a generational player,
right,
that's probably the time when you push your chips in.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to say KSE is cheap. They're not cheap, but they don't spend to the limit.
Right.
And we've seen it with head coaches. You know, Michael Malone was among the lowest paid coaches when they hired him. Jared Bednar was among the lowest paid coaches. David Adelman clearly is. They let Masai Ujiri walk for money. They let Tim Connolly walk for money.
And these are all just facts.
It's just the reality.
It's not an opinion. This is well understood in NBA parlance, and we'll get into some evidence that's definitely the case here in today's show if we get to it. But my pushback on behalf of them is because here's what you get. Well, who the heck are you to question our process when we just won a championship with the Nuggets? We won a championship with the Avs, those 2 coaches that were amongst the lowest paid. We won a championship with the Rams. That's what they would tell you. And I'm not even disagreeing with what you're saying, because, again, it's just fact. It's not an opinion, but that's what you would hear in return.
I understand that. And when they won a cup and then the next year they won an NBA title, I got a lot of grief because I'm critical of KSE. And it's like, oh, look at the results. Okay, well, it's been some time now. And it was a lot of time before that. Obviously the Nuggets had never won one. The Avs hadn't won one since the first year they owned the team, so they kind of inherited that one.
Sure.
So you can also look at it and say, all right, well, with the Rams, the Avs, the Nuggets, they have 3 titles in 70 combined seasons. That's not exactly a track record of success. I think if Nikola Jokic never came back from Serbia and he was done, do you think they maximized his prime?
No, unfortunately.
Do you think they maximized Nathan McKinnon's prime?
In fact, not only did you not maximize it, in some ways you could look at this as a failure. The fact that a player of his stature was on the Denver Nuggets in the most organic way possible to appear in one NBA Finals is disappointing because it actually bucks against the history of the sport when you do have a player of his stature.
And I think people who will counter that with, hey, it's hard to win a championship. That is true. But they weren't knocking on the door the other years.
No.
It was a lot of first and second round exits. Other than the cup year, it's been first or second round every year for the Avs.
Yeah.
And other than the championship year and then the bubble when they went to the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets are out in the first or second round every year too. They're not close. So it's not as though...
Jokic just said that.
And he's right. He's right. But I also think the guy making $55 million a year needs to get more criticism than he does in this town. It's all been Adelman.
No, he bears some of it too. We talked about it last week. He does, yeah.
Sure. But yeah, KSE, that's not where they want to invest. They don't want to invest in front office personnel and in head coaches. They've gotten away with it because they have all-time greats. Arguably the best player in Avs history, and without a doubt the best player in Nuggets history. But did they maximize those windows? I think it's pretty clear they haven't. The Avs still might. If you get another cup or two with McKinnon, okay.
And I think they're going to. I believe that with every part of me.
But the Nuggets, it's just so disappointing. And when some of it could have been avoided by just spending a little more money, that's hard to stomach as a fan.
Yeah, I want to save the Aaron Gordon stuff because I don't want to just squeeze it in here. I want to give it its own time. We'll do that in the very next segment. But in the meantime,
1, 2.
All right, a couple things here going around just the sporting world. Do you see Joel Embiid and like the 10-day stretch that this guy has had? The Sixers upset the Boston Celtics. I thought the Celtics were going to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA championship. That's definitely not the case. Embiid led the Sixers to their own 3-1 comeback over the Celtics. He went for 34, 12, and 6 assists in a decisive Game 7 on the road in Boston. Philly pulling the upset as a 7 seed. Now they're matching up with the 6 in the second round. I'm not an Embiid guy. I mean, I can't stand the fact that he and Jokic even shared the same airspace, given just the stature of each players and where they stack up in NBA history. But, man, I do have to take my hat off, and I'm looking at that Sixers team like, damn, they're all healthy at the same time for the first time in a long time. They look confident, and they slayed a bit of a dragon over the weekend.
Yeah, not a traditional 7 seed, right? They were the 7 seed because they had so many injuries all year long and beat at the top of the list.
And suspensions, Paul George, PEDs.
And look, Nikola Jokic has something on his resume that Joel Embiid hasn't come close to, and that's an NBA title. But that performance in Game 7, on the road in the playoffs as an underdog, and he carried his team to a series win when they weren't expected to win it, when they didn't have home court advantage. Joel Embiid's done something Nikola Jokic has never done. That has not happened during the Jokic era.
All right, next in the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, you see Skip Bayless is making his return to First Take this week?
I didn't see that.
Yes.
What is it, Throwback Week?
After years. Now, Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith sort of, in a lot of ways, redefined sports media. And some would say to the negative, that like we are going to have a debate show and we're not going to agree on anything. We're going to decide before the show ever starts, what side are you on? What side am I on? Very rarely do they find common ground. And what happened? Now, people say, you talk to 10 people, 10 people say they hate it. And why were the ratings the highest ever?
Yeah.
And First Take became a thing with those two. Skip hasn't been in the fold for many years, but is returning this Friday.
Well, you know what? It's going to get me to tune in. I want to see it.
I think I might too.
Job well done by ESPN. Like, PTI if I got my order right here, I feel like that show came first.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a little more civilized, right? Like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
Kornheiser and Wilbon, like, they would debate and disagree, but not in that kind of way.
No.
To where it got almost cartoonish.
Correct.
Maybe not as cartoonish as Shannon and Skip. Like, that really
that
got
was wild.
off the rails.
Yeah.
So I would say in a lot of ways it's probably for the worst that they change sports media. But a small dose of it, I don't want it every day. I don't want it every week. But will I tune in on Friday to check it out a little bit? Sure, why not? See if it's still, how's the fastball? Still bringing it?
Right. Stephen A is pretty good. I just don't know about Skip. Skip has sort of like wandered into like irrelevancy almost. And he has himself to blame, quite frankly. That's my opinion. But we'll see if they can recreate what they once had.
I think for a day they probably can. I think by the end of the show we'll be like, okay, I'm glad this isn't a thing on a regular basis anymore.
Real quick, I want to say this. John Sterling, longtime voice of the Yankees, passed away. And I've shared, many times on this station, on this show, that I grew up without a television. My mom was, very conservative, very religious, and when my father moved out when I was 7, the TV went with him, and one didn't replace it. So that was my original love with radio, just obsessed. And it's because if I wanted to be stimulated by multimedia, it was turning on the radio. And the number of times that I went to bed with John Sterling in my ear, especially those West Coast trips where the game wouldn't start till 10 o'clock at night, and they'd be in the third inning. And it was John Sterling and Michael Kay at the time. Michael Kay became the voice of the Yankees on TV years later, but for years they were together. And he would have the, ball game over, Yankees win. The Yankees win. And not that I was even like a huge Yankee fan, but it was a clear signal, and it was sports, and that's what was stimulating me. And the home run call was hit is high, hit is far, hit is gone. And I just heard that like 1,000 times. And so it made me a little bit sad today seeing that he was passing. Never had a chance to meet him, but definitely left a fingerprint on my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, a true legend. He's in the conversation with guys like Vin Scully and, these Joe Buck and people who called games on these big powerhouse stations where back in the day when radio was the thing, I mean, you could hear KMOX, the St. Louis station, hundreds of miles away and catch Joe Buck and catch the Cardinals games. It's just, it's an era that is obviously over. And it's sad when you see these true legends of the game passing on, because it ain't going back to that. We're never going to get back to those kind of years and those kind of moments. But, baseball's it's the best sport on radio.
Totally.
Because there's so much downtime, and you can tell stories.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just paint the picture.
Yes.
And, he was in that class of, we could probably come up with half a dozen to a dozen names where it's like all-time greats. He's going to be on there.
All right, rest in peace, John Sterling. All right, let's talk about this Aaron Gordon situation. Trade conversations with AG? Details next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
When a semi-truck hits you, it's not always just a fender bender. First, it's the missed work. Then the medical bills pile up. And these big rig companies can move fast with teams of lawyers, investigators, and denials. If you're not ready, you're already behind. At the Berg Simpson Law Firm, we've handled these cases for decades. So if you've been struck by an 18-wheeler, call us at Berg Simpson today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Stop waiting for rates and take advantage of real buying opportunities. Lowest Rate for Life helps you get the deal you want on the home today, and if rates fall in the future, we can redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fees. U.S. Mortgages 303 low rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast to protect your property and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Cheyenne Frontier Days. Born out of the American frontier, come salute our American heroes in the air, in the arena, and in the streets of Cheyenne this July. CFTRodeo.com. See you in Cheyenne.
Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com. One Wheel Broncos talk. Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, welcome back to it. On our YouTube chat, which, by the way, is now sponsored by Shop Honda. Please. So someone's asking, why are you talking about trading AG? Well, we're talking about trading AG because Brett Siegel of Clutch Points is talking about trading AG. Listen to this report over the weekend. Quote, and James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay. The immediate belief surrounding Denver is that while the possibility of trading Gordon will be discussed, sources said it would take quite an offer to part with him. Gordon is not viewed as a clear salary dump option for the Nuggets entering the summer, and the only way they would consider trading him is if they were to retain key draft capital lost in previous trades, as well as another impactful starter. He went on to say, quote, teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and Boston Celtics are among the many win-now teams Gordon would obviously fit in with as realistic trade suitors, end quote.
What makes me nervous about that is when you list the 3 teams that could be interested. Like, those are teams that he said it, are in win-now mode.
Right.
Aren't the Nuggets?
Of course.
Right? Like, you trade Michael Porter Jr. to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's not in win-now mode.
No.
So you don't feel like you're giving them a piece, although in hindsight, that trade doesn't look very good. But you're not giving another contender a piece that might come back and bite you in the postseason. Like, you want to face AG and the Lakers next year in the playoffs? Or the Suns and AG?
Now, that's an idealistic world where AG is on the court, in the postseason.
I get it. In the injuries, he played 36 games, and he's not getting any younger.
And it's been a few years of this now. He hasn't played 16 consecutive games since they won the championship. But 16 wins are what's required to win a championship.
It's just alarming when those are the teams that are interested.
Sure.
Because they look at it and say, hey, that could be the missing piece. Well, why isn't he that here? And I also don't want to hear...
he kind of was.
Well, true.
It just wasn't out there.
But I also don't want to hear anything even close to a salary dump. Like, this organization, and at some point they will be, when Jokic is done, they're going to be bad for a while. That's when you go save money. Refill the coffers as though they need to be refilled.
Now, by the way, though, hold on. I need to say this because I haven't heard this said on the station in this market. I'm not saying it hasn't been said. I just haven't heard it. It is widely viewed in NBA circles that the Michael Porter Jr. trade accomplished more than one thing. I know fans were frustrated with Michael Porter Jr., but he was on a massive salary that he got signed for before the new CBA kicked in, and we do know that a first-round pick went with MPJ for Brooklyn to take him.
Correct. Okay, but
so a lot of people view that as that was a salary dump. That was to get under the tax.
It clearly was, and everybody tried to. Not everybody, but a lot of people who like to carry the water for the team like to spin it as, "Wow, no, you got 4 players."
Well, in some ways you did.
Okay, but in the loss to the Timberwolves, how much of an impact? I thought Cam Johnson was actually really good.
He was their best player along with Jokic.
Yeah,
in that game. Yeah,
I would agree with that. But Tim Hardaway Jr. did nothing. No, Bruce Brown
he had his worst game of the year, arguably.
Mess. He was.
Jamal Murray had his worst game of the year, arguably.
And Big Val didn't do anything.
Irrelevant to the game.
Now that might be I don't know if it's the biggest mistake that Adelman made, but if you go back to Game 5. Big Val's first 3 or 4 minutes in the game were awful. He had like 3 turnovers and 3 fouls. But Adelman kept him on the floor. In Game 6, his first 3 minutes were awful, and we never saw him again.
Yeah,
like it was 2 days ago, dude. Like, how do you not remember what just happened here? But yeah, I hear that report about AG, and it sounds like second straight year of a salary dump, and it's more alarming than last year's because it's teams that are looking to contend. I could stomach the Brooklyn one because it's like, all right, they want to go build around this guy. They're going to lose a lot of games, and he's going to put up big numbers. What happened? They lost a lot of games, and he put up big numbers. But I'd have rather had Michael Porter Jr. than those other 4 guys in the series against Minnesota.
Well, with the benefit of hindsight, obviously those guys didn't do much of anything. And you see MPJ over the weekend was talking about they should have never traded me. So, but a lot of this stuff is revisionist history. Like, we have to go back and by the way, he got to, like, when you're playing for the Nets, there's no consequences for anything.
Right.
So you can go score 24, 25 points a game on not efficient shooting, by the way. It wasn't even close to Cam Johnson's year from 3 and from the field. But,
He's the guy that throws for 4,000 yards and you won 6 games.
Yeah.
Like you're just talking about stat padding. But, he also was the guy that took the majority of the blame for the Nuggets being quote-unquote soft. It was an MPJ problem.
Sure.
Okay.
And that was part of the problem, though. I mean, let's not mischaracterize. Like, it was a problem.
He also played through pain the entire playoffs last year.
He did.
And instead of getting credit for it, he got made fun of. It was, he's got wearing the diaper on his shoulder and all that kind of nonsense.
I remember.
All right, well, this year there were a couple guys, and I don't know that I'd put AG in this category. He tried to play. A couple of guys who, I'm not going out there unless I'm 100%. All right.
Well, who are you thinking of when you say that?
I'm talking about Peyton Watson.
Yeah.
And we don't know, but, you hear enough rumors, you hear enough whispers, it makes you wonder. I give Michael Porter Jr. credit. He played when it could have been very easy for him to say, I can't lift one of my arms.
That much is fair.
I'm not going to play.
That much is fair.
And he got hurt diving for a loose ball.
He did. We could
have seen a little more diving for loose balls in this past series.
Man, there was a ball that hung out there. I think it was Jamal Murray and, God, I forget who it was. It was double Cam Newton. Knees wiggling, just like no one went out and grabbed it. All right, shifting gears. Avalanche. What an instant classic. I was there last night. We'll talk about some of the details coming up next.
Colorado takes Game 1 with authority. The Avalanche put up 9 goals and outpaced the Wild 9-6, setting the tone early in the series. Colorado's offense stayed aggressive all night, answering every Minnesota push and controlling the pace when it mattered. It's one game, but it's an important start. The Avalanche grabbed the opener and headed to Game 2 with a lead in hand. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
How about 60 seconds that'll make you actually feel good for a change? Hey, Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. You've heard me talk about the best free meal in Denver. And I had some listeners that had heard me talk about how I used to love to make brisket, but with outrageous beef prices, we just couldn't afford to do it anymore. We can't afford to feed that many people. Well, a guy, Barbecue Bob, showed up to one of our first and third Thursdays with a couple $1,000s of brisket so he could just help people. We're going to make free brisket here coming up in the next couple months for our best free meal in Denver. And then another guy, Fred, who runs the Ace Hardwares over on Gartrell Road and Arapahoe Crossing. He said, from now on, all your fuel you need for that barbecue is on me. And another guy, Bobby Hancock from IHOP. He fed our volunteers and gave thousands of dollars worth of gift certificates to our people that take advantage of the best free meal in Denver. If you want to help, you can. Just spread the word. It's the best free meal in Denver every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. And if you have any questions, just call us at 303-LAW-4040.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire it back, then do what I did and go see Dr. Tanya Pauls at Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can personally attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation today. Call 720-459-HAIR and you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. That's 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver, and they've changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. Become inspired with the before and afters at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
Growing a business is hard enough. Figuring out where to advertise shouldn't be a thing that holds you back. Your customers are listening to this station. Heck, you are. They're streaming Denver's biggest games on their TVs. They're tuned into the podcasts everyone's talking about. We help you show up in all three with one plan, one team, and results you can actually see. We've helped businesses like yours grow for years. Let us show you how. Visit DenverSports.com and click Advertise with Us.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at WindowNation.com. I know that May's weather is pretty nice, but you don't have to wait until the heat hits in May and beyond to try and avoid high energy bills. You need to upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows. You get new energy efficient ones from WindowNation.com, and you get half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down. Schedule your fast, free consultation now at WindowNation.com.
Spring is the perfect time to get your AC tune-up before the heat arrives. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning offers tune-ups, repairs, and replacements 24/7. Book at onehouraircolorado.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Hellsberg. Shop and store are at hellsberg.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Last night was an instant classic at Ball Arena. Game 1, Avs and Wild. And James, man, I can tell you, it was one of the most unique sporting events I have ever been to. And I have been blessed beyond measure to be at a lot of awesome ones. That one will stick out for a handful of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you saw history, for one thing. But, you know, just watching it on TV, the atmosphere in the building just looked incredible. And you would almost think that at some point, people would be tired of waving their pom-poms, like, oh, another goal? We got to stand up again? It didn't seem to die down at all in the third period. If anything, it seemed to ramp up a little bit.
It did.
But that building was jumping from the first goal all the way to the ninth goal. That was one where I was envious that I was on my couch and you were in the building.
Man, and it was one of these things where my in-laws are in town, and my father-in-law, who was 71 years old at the start of the trip last Wednesday, I think he said, he goes, we were watching the games, and he said, he goes, I've never been to a pro hockey game. So he obviously been to football and basketball and so much baseball. He's like, I've never been to I'm like, damn. Like 71 years old, never been to a pro game. And my son's been begging me to go to a playoff game, and he is so blessed, all the fun little things that he gets to do that I never got to do. That's for sure. And there I was yesterday morning just looking at tickets and seeing them drop, and I'm like, honestly, like I didn't, naturally didn't want to spend that amount of money because I'm like, if I'm going to bring my father-in-law to his first ever game, like I want him to, not that, look, Ball Arena's Ball Arena. There's not a bad seat in the house, especially for hockey. But I'm like, if it's his first game ever, if I can, I'll extend myself and get us tickets in the lower bowl. And we did. And goodness gracious, like when I tell you that will be in like our family's Hall of Fame for the rest of time, like truly by definition, it will live on in our family for a very, very long time.
Yeah, no, that's a unique experience, right? It's one of those things that you can't really put a price on. The other part of it is, and it's why, spending the extra dough to sit in the lower bowl. Nowadays, with as good as HD TV is, there aren't a lot of sports that are better in person now than they are on TV.
This is a good take here.
Hockey still is.
Yep.
And especially when you're down in the lower bowl. Right, you get too high up, it's like, okay, it's a little hard to see the puck. Well, it's the same problem at times on TV, but it's just the gap between what it's like watching it versus what it's like being there is so much different in hockey than it is in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. So, yeah, man, it's cool that you had the opportunity to do it and we're able to do it. And 3 generations going to a playoff game and you see that kind of game.
It was special.
That's the kind of thing he'll remember forever. You'll remember forever. Your son will remember forever.
No doubt.
That's the kind of game where, when you're 7, I mean, think about how cool it was for you and how big the moment felt. He's 7.
Right.
Like, that's just got to feel like, oh my gosh, like we're at the center of the world here right now.
Dude, it was euphoric for him.
I'll bet.
And this little boy had one of his dreams come true last night. James, they put his little ass on that Jumbotron.
Really?
They did.
That's
they
cool.
did. And he's sitting there waving his pom-pom. And I see where the camera guy is because they showed someone else like 15, 20 feet from us. So I'm like, wait, he's shooting it from this direction. So I'm like, I wonder if and then he looked like he was pointing it over near us, and my little 7-year-old's waving his pom-pom and dancing. And I'm like, I'm going to see if he gets on here. So I had the presence of mind to whip out my phone and hit video. So I have a piece of him on the Jumbotron on my phone.
That's cool.
Which I'll probably put on social media just a little bit later, maybe just Instagram. But it was so special. It was awesome. And then to have the game, 9 goals. 9 goals. And the thing is, the game, you sort of misremember it because of how much action there was. It started slow.
Yeah.
It was 0-0 until under 9 minutes left in the first period. But when it came, boy, it came. I mean, it was 2 goals in 52 seconds. Sam Malinsky followed by Jack Jury. Shout out Netchus on the Malinsky goal. It was fantastic. And then a third from Lehkonen on the power play. So there was 3 goals in 2 minutes and 1 second. And then the way that the Wild responded had their fan base, because it felt like maybe 20% of the fans in there were Minnesota people.
I could see that.
Dude, they were chanting Wolves and 6. I mean, it was pissing me off, dude. And but
yeah, that would get under my skin.
The fact that it all worked out the way that it did, not that there's not anything to discuss beyond the surface level of the score, there is, and we will here in a second, but it was legendary, man.
It was a weird game for a lot of reasons. One, like, okay, there were 15 goals. So you just do the math in a 60-minute game. It's like there's a goal scored every 4 minutes. But it was actually more frequent than that because there were stretches, you mentioned at the beginning of the game, but there were other stretches where there was kind of a drought and nothing would happen, and then there'd be like, boom, 4 goals scored in 2 minutes. And it would come in just bunches.
Crazy.
Just a wild game, crazy game. The fact that it's Minnesota again, when the Nuggets just got knocked out by the T-Wolves, now the Avs get a shot to get a little bit of revenge. Makes me a little nervous that, all right, Nuggets won game 1. If the Avs are up after the first period in game 2, I'm going to be like, oh, God, here we go. Deja vu.
And that's the thing. Like, those are awesome players over there. Like, these are 2 of the best, 4 teams in the sport. And I do not think this is going to be any sort of a sweep situation. It would not shock me at all if game over game, this goes from 9-6 to 4-3, 3-2. It wouldn't shock me at all. And I remember back to 2022. Being in the building for game 1 of the first round against Nashville. It was goal, 4 goals on the board in the first period, and I remember it was just bedlam in Ball Arena, and they hung a crooked number. It was 7. I think they won 7-2, if memory serves, against Nashville, and then you come back in the very next game, and I was there for that as well. That game went into overtime. That was 1-1 going into overtime, so I would caution my own self, first and foremost, not to get carried away based on one game in a series, because these things, they can take on a texture of their own game by game.
Yeah, there will be an overcorrection, right? You would expect it. Not that that's how the rest of the series is going to be, but I would think both teams are going to go back, watch that, see all the mistakes they made defensively, and correct those things, and then just come out with a little bit more of, hey, we got to focus on this stuff, right?
Yeah.
We if you're the Wild, we can't lose track of Cale Makar off a face-off. And not only did they lose track, there wasn't anybody close to him.
No.
He had just all day to set up his shot there, and he did it twice. And what's funny, because he got hurt early, but he looks more and more like himself.
Oh, James.
Kadri had an unbelievable move.
Speaking of looking more and more like themselves, Kadri was a bit of a shell of himself in that first round series. It looked like he didn't want to shoot. He just didn't, like, okay, why are you out there right now?
Yeah.
He looks like he did last night anyway, that he did in 2022. And Cale looked like Conn Smythe Cale is what he looked like.
I still think the best play of the night was Val's pass.
Me too. That was gore. Dude, and James, like, so I'm on the end. So you get a little bit of a discount on the ticket if you go on the end that the Avs only attack once.
Right.
And so, because you're going to pay like maybe $50-$60 more per ticket if you're going to be on the other end. But that happened in the second, and that was right in front of us. And the skill to put that past not one but two defenders and lead him like a quarterback, but the puck was perfectly flat for who was it, Blankenberg, to put it in the back of the net. That was awesome.
He led him perfectly, but he had to get it through like 3 sticks to get it there. Like it wasn't just a great pass and leading him perfectly. Like there was a ton of traffic.
There was two guys right there.
So that was a beautiful play, and that's one of those things. Like typically speaking, when you watch the Avs and they're so skilled offensively that you do just see these plays like, man, that was pretty. That's just as pretty as it gets. And we had like 3 or 4 of both of Makar's shots were that way. Kadri's goal was that way, and Val's pass was that way. The Wild had a couple of those as well.
They did. Quinn Hughes had the spinorama assist that put it on the doorstep. That guy is phenomenal. And I know I'm not breaking news, but Quinn Hughes, holy smokes, the fact that there was that much defenseman talent on the ice last night. 5 goals from defensemen. 5 of the 9 goals for the Avs came from defensemen. That's insane.
Did you at some point start to feel bad for the 2 goaltenders last night? They were just getting peppered.
Well, it's interesting you say that because there is a larger conversation to have that I think is extremely relevant heading into Game 2, and we'll have that conversation coming up next.
The Nuggets season is over as the shorthanded Timberwolves send the Nuggets home. Jamal Murray, nowhere to be found. Jaden McDaniels jawed all series, then proved it on the floor. This was supposed to be a run. Instead, it's an embarrassment. And now as banners fade and questions roar, are franchise-altering changes coming to the Mile High City? This offering promises chaos, tough decisions, and a radically different future. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Once active and adventurous, Stephanie from Parker, Colorado was sidelined by joint pain. She was losing touch with what gave her real joy.
I want to stay active, and if I don't do something now to feel better, that will keep me out hiking and running and doing all those activities, my health's going to suffer from it. I had the treatment at QC Kinetics.
Their all-natural regenerative treatments use the restorative biologics from Stephanie's body. As the healing properties went to work, Stephanie realized something one day.
I was like, wow, I don't feel any pain. I have no problem going up and down stairs. I have no problem going down mountains. Snowboarding felt good again.
If you see Stephanie on a mountain, give her a thumbs up. That is, if you can catch her.
And now I can totally keep up with my friends in their 30s, and I'm 55.
Don't even think about giving up. Lots of life to live here. Call now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986.
Are you looking for the perfect engagement ring? Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthew's Fine Watches and Jewelry. We have a great selection to choose from. If you're looking for that one-of-a-kind custom ring, our associates will take the time with you to design that ring that she will love and her friends will go crazy over. At Matthews, when you purchase your ring and Centerstone, you'll receive 20% off your wedding bands. Make the right choice. Come to Matthews and save.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will, because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietNutrition.com, and you've got to have these guys on your side, because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietNutrition.com, and there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal, because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit a local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile selected to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, just to stay on the Avs tip, game one was psychotic. I mean, just a couple things here. Like, before we get into the goaltending conversation, 9 goals, that is the most in a single playoff game in Avalanche or Nordique's history. It was the 10th playoff game in the history of the NHL to feature 15 or more goals. And it's the first time that it happened since the Oilers and Flames put up 15 in the second round of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. The Avs, and I love this one. I'm sure you guys have heard this. If you haven't, open your ears. The Avs become the first team in the history of the playoffs to lead a game by 3 goals, then fall behind in that game, and ultimately win by 3 goals. That should be impossible.
Yeah. There's a reason it's never happened before. It virtually is impossible. They managed to pull it off. We were talking during the break, like normally if a team scores 9 goals, by the third period, it's not a very entertaining game, right? It's a blowout. and everybody's just kind of skating around like, okay, we're just burning clock. Like, that thing was a 1-goal game with less than 4 minutes to play. It was wildly entertaining in every possible way. I asked you in last segment whether or not you felt bad for the goaltenders at one point. The only reason I did, and I think you mentioned it, there were 5 goals scored by defensemen last night.
Yeah.
But I think they were putting themselves in bad positions. Like, how do you give up a 2-on-0 breakaway when you're on the power play?
Crazy. That should be impossible.
It should be impossible, but it's because, hey, everybody's offense here and not really thinking, hey, what do I got to do on the other end of the ice here? And I think both teams were guilty of it. I think that's part of what we'll see different in Game 2. I just think it'll be a little bit more conservative on the part of the defenseman out there of like, defense is the first part of your position here. Let's make sure we're taking care of that and not just offense all the time. That was the one thing that made me feel a little bit bad for the goaltenders. It's like, you're on a power play. You shouldn't be facing a 2-on-0 rush coming at you.
Yeah, that was insane. Defense was not the priority last night.
No.
And we'll talk about that a little bit further here in a second. Just a couple more like fun stats and facts from last night. So you think back to the first round, the Avs scored 13 goals total in round 1, and then they score 9 in game 1 of the second round. That is absurd. The Avs heading into last night, how about this? Their record when allowing 6 goals in a game was 2-147. So last night was just the third time ever that they allowed 6 goals and won the game. The Avs, this is another just psychotic stat. The Avs have more even strength goals in the game, which was 7, than Dallas had in 6 games against the Wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's the same opponent.
Correct.
Right? So whatever defensive deficiencies the Wild have, and I do think last night was over the course of the series, we'll see it was the aberration. Whether it was a bit of an aberration or a big-time aberration, we'll see. But, they didn't have those defensive issues against Dallas. Like, that is on a night of crazy stats, I think the 2-147 is the biggest one, especially because you can think of one of the other ones off the top of your head, the 8-6 win over Edmonton during the Cup run. But, yeah, the fact that they had more even strength goals last night than Dallas had in the entire series.
In 6 games.
How about the fact that they had as many goals as Montreal had shots last night?
Yeah, I saw that
Montreal
stat.
won their game.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Been a tough couple of months for John Cooper.
Yes.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. And by the way, just keep this in your back pocket as we move forward and advance through the series. 5 of the Avs goals came from the right circle. And that's relevant because that goes up against Volstad's blocker, and that let's just keep that little detail. That could be a emphasis, and in terms of a point of attack. But the goaltenders, James, obviously it was a rough night. You can't the defense played in front of Scott Wedgwood, and Scott Wedgwood's performance. They're inextricably tied, right? They're it's one hand washing the other a lot of times, most times. The defense was not good last night. Jared Bednar talked about that after the game. We'll hear from Bedsy in a second. But Scott Wedgwood in a vacuum was not good either. And not to say that every single goal was his fault. That's not true. But, man, he's got to do a little bit better of playing above the X's and O's.
Yeah, he didn't stand on his head by any means, right? Did he get a ton of help? No. But he also didn't have saves where it's like, boy, he really bailed him out on that one. I just thought overall the Avs, they were out of position a bit. Some of that can be that they were mixing and matching, especially when Makar was out there in the first period.
Sure.
And then in the second period, they were talking on the broadcast that maybe his shifts are a little different than normal. They were still trying to figure all that out, so that probably had a little bit to do with it. But I also thought they were just a little lackadaisical. I wouldn't say they were lazy. It just was like, oh yeah, that's going to be in his glove, and then it would bounce off for a rebound, and they were just kind of coasting behind the play, and Minnesota would beat them to the puck and get another shot on goal. It was just those kind of things of man, in the postseason, you're not going to get away with that more often than not, right? This isn't a February game in Columbus.
Right.
You just can't coast and assume your goaltender's going to glove it. There were just too many of those things that maybe that's you hadn't played in a week. Maybe it's that they had to kind of mix and match a little bit again when McCarr was injured. But either way, it's stuff that has to be corrected for game 2. Just has to be.
Yeah, it does. And to think that this is going to be the feel, and every game is going to have the same sort of fabric that we had last night. That's not going to happen. They're going to have to find more of, not all, but more of that identity that they had against the Kings. And full disclosure, one of the first things I did this morning was bet the under for game 2, which has been set at 6.5 goals. Really tall number. I think you're going to see more of an emphasis defensively, but Wedgwood has to play better. Wedgwood has to play better. And you did not like that Bednar has not come out and named him the unequivocal starter. I think that Bednar has been so intentional with the way that he has gone about responding to these questions, because we've had so many of these questions and conversations over the course of a season. It's been a theme, really, of the season, one of the themes. And really that noise, if there was quote-unquote noise for the best team in the league, you're trying to figure out what could be the flaw here, what could cost
something has to be their biggest weakness. Something by default, right?
Yes, but I think until the month of March, when Wedgwood really came on and Blackwood started regressing. I mean, there was an 8-game sequence where Blackwood had been pulled 3 of the 8 games. I mean, it just wasn't trending well for him, and Wedgwood really started to come on. So it kind of went away, but it feels like we could potentially be returning to a conversation like the ones that we were having a couple months ago. I want to hear from Jared Bednar on that topic, and we'll continue this conversation coming up next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Hello?
Hey, sis. Got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
The Tree Farm's early spring tree and shrub sale, now through Mother's Day. See what's on sale at thetreefarm.com. Choose from thousands of shade trees, evergreen trees, fruit trees, and more. And the Tree Farm has thousands of white, pink, or red flowering trees, including spring snow, fruitless crabapple, and a lot more. And you get free professional loading. The Tree Farm's early spring tree and shrub sale. Come see.
I-25 to exit 235, then 5 miles west to the Tree Farm.
I'm Corey Rose, anchor at 9 News and proud mama who enjoys taking my kids mountain biking at Winter Park.
I love preparing you for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Whether it's tackling safety in our kids' schools or covering breaking news, from Aurora to Lakewood and everywhere in between, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Colorado's #1 streaming newscast. Make the move to 9 News Mornings. Live starting at 4:30 anywhere you watch.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
When an 80,000-pound semi-truck collides with a passenger vehicle, the results can be devastating. I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting for seriously injured truck accident victims in Colorado. These are complex cases that require serious resources and experience. We bring both to every case to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a trucking accident, don't wait. Call the Wilhite Law Firm, 303-GOOD-LAW, or visit wilhitewins.com.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here. Are you considering GLP-1 injections for weight loss? Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medication long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication is stopped, weight regain is common. And here's something most people don't realize. Research shows a significant portion of weight loss can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping weight off even harder. At Colorado Fat Loss, they take a different approach. Their doctor-developed program helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, they use real food to reset your metabolism, control hunger and cravings naturally, and help your body burn fat, not muscle. Right now, you can schedule a free phone consultation to see if the program is right for you. Go to coloradofatloss.com. That's coloradofatloss.com.
Results may vary.
Max HELOC can lower your bill significantly. Borrow $250,000 and have a payment option as low as $495 a month. We make it easy to save. Call now for a no-risk, no-obligation quote. U.S. Mortgages 303 low rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by Step Denver, a nonprofit solution to addiction and homelessness.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, so the Avalanche, they win game one in, like, maybe the most improbable way possible that has no precedent. The first team ever to be up 3 goals, go on to trail during that same game, and then ultimately win by 3 goals. Like, it had never happened before. My guess is it won't happen for another 80 to 100 years. James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. It was an instant classic, but the conversation, that is more bigger picture, the goaltending situation, what kind of leash does Wedgwood have if it looks like that again, it'll take on new life if there's some version of what happened last night in game number 2.
Yeah, and I don't like the situation, and people take that as I'm being critical of Wedgwood. I'm not. I'm being critical of Jared Bednar. Like, I don't like that they went into the postseason. They had this situation where the head coach is unwilling to declare who his definitive number one goaltender is. I think over the history of the league, teams that win cups, team that contend for cups, they know who's going to be between the pipes every single game barring injury. That's just the norm. So they're trying to kind of go against the grain on that. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they're 5-0 and we're having a conversation of, hey, is the goaltender going to be out there for game 2? What's the leash like? I just think that's a less than ideal situation. I think and when I said this, and I've been saying it for 6 weeks, everybody's coming at me with the stats and all the rest of these things, and he's number one in goals against, and save percentage, and all these kind of things. Like, okay,
that's relevant though, right?
It is, but Jared Bednar doesn't see that. Like, to me, that makes my case even more of like, yeah, why doesn't the head coach see all these things? And you got Will Peterson, who does a great job covering the Avs for us, and he's at all the games, and he's down there at morning skate and all the rest of it, saying, Wedgwood got robbed, he's not a finalist for the Vezina. Okay, well, the other guys that are finalists for the Vezina, they're in net.
They're just full-time guys.
Right. And it's like, and their head coach doesn't waver when asked who their number one goaltender is. And I get he's a career backup, but you kind of had 6-7 months to figure out who's the guy and then pick one. And I just don't like that they haven't picked one, because you won 9-6. And listen, the 6 is bad. They 150 times in the history of the team they've given up 6 goals. It was only the third time they've won.
Right.
So if they keep doing that, they're going to be done in this round. I don't expect them to keep doing that, but based on the percentages, they'll be done pretty quickly. I just don't think it should be a conversation. I think it should be, yeah, they won, and he had a bad game, and they still overcame it, and he'll be out there again on Tuesday. That's what I wish.
So you don't like the murkiness. You don't like the lack of clarity.
Correct.
And Bednar, I mean, and I understand his logic here, because they had a tandem throughout the year, and he's like, why? We're the best team in the sport. Why would we change what got us here? But then, the first round started, and it was nothing but Wedgwood, but he purposefully left the door ajar for a situation should he need to pull that card. And I would ask, like, say the Avs offense, wasn't humming in the way that it was. And say instead of winning 9-6, you lost 6-5, 6-4. Does Wedgwood get pulled at a certain point in that game last night? I think it'd be on the table.
They fell behind 5-4. If Minnesota scores another goal to go up 6-4 there, I think he probably does get pulled.
Well, James, I can tell you from being there, and I had a sight line like directly looking at Blackwood. Think of like I'm over Volstad's left shoulder, and the bench is on his right side. Blackwood looked like, and I swear to God, it looked like he started to, after the fourth goal was given up, it looked like he started to move around on the bench, like moving his shoulders, and just as much as you could. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, as much as you could warm up while sitting down, is like it looked like he started to do.
Well, and I think it's just instinct, right? If you're sitting on the bench, you're the backup that night, and the guy that's in net gives up 4-5 goals, like, typically speaking, you're probably going to go out there. So it's almost just like, it comes natural, like, oh, we better start warming up here. But I also think there's a difference between getting pulled and not knowing if you're going to be in net the next game.
Sure.
A lot of great goaltenders, it's just not been their night, and they get pulled. So
it happens to everyone.
Exactly. We saw it happen to Patrick Waugh in postseason games. Like, it just happens. I wouldn't have had an issue with that as much as I don't like that we're not 100% sure who's going to be out there for a team that's 5-0 in the postseason.
Right.
That's kind of ridiculous. It really is. And, like, I get, like, during the first, maybe until the Olympic break, it felt like it was kind of a little bit more even.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, it became, like, unequivocal, like it was going to be Wedgwood.
Yeah. And the other part of it is, I get what Jared Bednar is saying. Like, oh, it's what we've done all year with the best team in hockey. Why would we change? Because the playoffs are different. The Nuggets were the best offensive team in the NBA.
And then had 3 out of 6 games where they didn't get to 100.
Yeah. It's like, because it's different.
Yeah.
And their head coach insisted it's about offense and was getting into arguments with media members, and it's not about defense. Like, yeah, it is, especially in today's NBA, where the the Steph Curry Warriors, those types of teams aren't winning titles anymore. It's who can clamp down, who can play defense, and who can get stops, who can make you really work hard to get buckets. And the Nuggets just didn't have an answer because they tried to play regular season basketball in the postseason. Regular season, it worked fine being goaltender by committee. I think in the playoffs, you got to have your guy because I think everybody, including the two goaltenders, but everybody else in that room needs to know we knew who's going to be there on Tuesday. We know who's going to be there on Saturday. We know who's going to be there the next Monday. Like every single game, unless he gets hurt, we know who's going to be out there. I think that stability is important in the playoffs.
Well, I think Wedgwood is going to be between the pipes in game number 2. I'm on the verge of saying I know that's going to be the case. You can't, like, Wedgwood, and those stats do matter. Him leading the entire league in save percentage, the entire league in goals against, and playing his best hockey in the month leading up to the postseason. You can't tap out on that guy after one game where the defense in front of him was lackluster. But I will admit, I do think that there could be a couple links that are missing in his leash here moving forward. I just think it's something to monitor, and I don't think Bednar goes out of his way consistently saying, you're going to see both guys. Like, we still believe in our tandem if he's not just leaving the door ajar for a situation, not like this one, not after one game, but if Wedgwood doesn't play well in game number 2 and it's parlayed with better defense in front of him, I think it's on the table.
All right, if you win 6-4, you're going to bench a guy that's 6-0? Because if he truly believes, we're going to play them both. Well, you're starting to get into the territory where Blackwood hasn't played in a long time. Like, if you really believe you're going to play both guys, then maybe not 50-50. I mean, clearly.
No, clearly not. No.
That's not going to be the case. But if, we're going to play him a few games. Well, you're not just going to have him sit here for weeks and not be on the ice and not see live action. Like, it's almost to the point where if you really are going to play Blackwood, you kind of got to get him out there and get him some work.
But you're not experimenting or
I don't know
doing
what he's
test
doing.
drives in the postseason either.
I don't know what he's doing. But if you went my way and said, hey, barring an injury,
Wedgwood's the guy.
Wedgwood, you don't care about getting him any minutes, right? Team USA, 1980, Miracle on Ice. The backup goaltender didn't play a minute. It was going to be Jim Craig between the pipes no matter what. That's the ideal situation is your backup quarterback doesn't play, your backup goaltender doesn't play. I just don't like the situation Jared Bednar has created.
Well, here was a Bednar after the game talking about Wedgwood's night.
It wasn't his best. That being said, on the defensive side of things, it was probably no one on our team's best, So I group him in with the rest of the team. We have to get better, and we'll do that for game 2.
All right, we'll see what game 2 looks like. We all agree it's going to be Scott Wedgwood, but if there's a repeat, we'll see how the tone of these conversations evolve, if at all.
Yeah, and I would just be very curious if he does make a change. Well, then what do you do? Is it one game? Is it you're going with the hot hand? Are you going to bounce back and forth? Like, I don't like the situation now. Zach, if in 2 weeks they're just bouncing back and forth and we never know who's going to be out there, I think that will be even more problematic.
All right, well,
it's an issue. For a 5-0 team.
They've yet to lose a postseason game. So
get it.
we'll see how much of an issue it becomes, if at all. All right. We'll continue to monitor that situation, obviously. Bo Nix shared a video of himself running on Instagram. But boy, is there some context. Just how much we'll discuss. Also, David Adelman remaining as Nuggets head coach and Aaron Gordon in trade rumors. We'll get to all of that as we're on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
Colorado takes game 1 with authority. The Avalanche put up 9 goals and outpaced the Wild 9-6, setting the tone early in the series. Colorado's offense stayed aggressive all night, answering every Minnesota push and controlling the pace when it mattered. It's one game, but it's an important start. The Avalanche grabbed the opener and headed to Game 2 with a lead in hand. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
This week's Recovery of the Week is brought to you by Step Denver, the men's residential addiction recovery program in Lower Downtown. Our recovery of the week this week belongs to the Colorado Avalanche, who, after a long season of going 55, 16, and 11, dispatched their first-round opponent, the Los Angeles Kings, in 4 games and got to recover while the rest of the NHL finished up their series and hopefully has a full tank for the second round of the NHL playoffs. And that was your recovery of the week, brought to you by Step Denver. I'm here again with Derek from Step Denver, and today we're talking about integrity. What role does integrity play in your recovery, Derek?
Integrity is the foundation of my recovery. It requires the courage to be honest, the courage it takes to have integrity. That's the foundation of who I am as a person because it's all-encompassing. At Step, when I'm working with the men, the best way I describe integrity is by giving an example of when I worked overnight. I had a job duty of mopping the entire first floor. The way I explain it to him is mopping the corners. I could have gotten away with only mopping the main part of the floor and not mopping the corners, but my integrity said otherwise. How I do anything is how I do everything. And if I begin to literally skip corners, then eventually I'm going to start skipping corners in the other areas of my life. At Step, I was taught the core pillars of sobriety, work, accountability, and community. And for that, integrity is required. Attending meetings, working a job, making a budget, being on time, it's all uncomfortable at first, but what I learned at Step is that things don't need to be easy, comfortable, or convenient for me to do them anyways. I do the difficult thing, and then I feel better afterwards. Slowly but surely, these principles become a part of who I am. It helps me to feel purposeful.
Man, I'm really glad that your program pushes that as a foundation. If you're struggling with addiction or you want to make a donation to help the men who are calling Step to get their life back today, visit stepdenver.org. That's stepdenver.org.
Hey, Broncos country, I'm Terrell Davis, and I'm here with Donnie, owner of the Fitness Gallery. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. Work out on your schedule from the privacy of your own home. I have a true treadmill at home. It's the smoothest and quietest I've ever been on.
If you're ready to make fitness fit your schedule, don't wait. Secure pre-tariff pricing today.
You never regret buying quality. Visit Colorado's largest fitness store, Fitness Gallery, and get started on your goals today.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I heard from a couple in Aurora recently, Tom and Denise. They're empty nesters who thought they were finally hitting their stride, but then life happened. They needed car repairs, groceries kept climbing, and suddenly they were putting everyday expenses on credit cards just to stay afloat. Tom told me, I feel like we're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. That's when I told them about American Financing. They're helping people just like Tom and Denise every day. They look at your whole financial picture, not just credit card balances that keep growing. With a refinance, you may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. And when they heard the average customer is saving $800 a month, they finally felt like they could breathe again. One manageable payment, a chance to stop financing their past and start funding their future. American Financing, family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants. There's no upfront fees and there's no obligation. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
In the playoffs, everything comes down to the buzzer. One shot, one moment, no room for error. In your facility, that moment hits when the power goes out. That's when experience matters most. For over 40 years, Piper Electric has delivered expert electrical construction, service, and maintenance, including fire alarms and large-scale power distribution. Their licensed electricians are built for high-pressure situations and complex projects. Starting something new? Don't wait for the last second. Make the smart call. Include Piper Electric. Visit piperelectric.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Over his Hall of Fame career, Terrell Davis racked up impressive numbers. 65 touchdowns, 2 championships, almost 8,000 rushing.
That's why I bank at Colorado Credit Union.
That's a weird segue.
Colorado Credit Union treats me like a person, not a number.
With personal service, great rates, and smart financial advice.
And those are just 3 great perks.
We can stop with the numbers now.
You don't have to be a legend to bank like one at Colorado Credit Union. Visit ccu.org. Terms and restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. AdvancedHair.com.
Whatever the forecast, aches and pains can cloud up a perfect day. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief, so you're ready for sunny skies ahead. Use as directed.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, rolling downhill here on a Monday. And I saw going into the last break on the YouTube chat, someone says, what context is there Bo Nix's video he's running? We'll get to it. By the way, shout out Champ Honda for sponsoring our YouTube chat. James Merrillat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. So we'll get into the nuggets here at the top of the hour because there are things that are developing that are highly relevant to the big picture forecast of this organization after the dramatic first-round exit just last week. But before we get to that, Bo Nix, all right, our franchise quarterback here in Denver, goes on Instagram on Friday, and he releases basically like a photo dump, they'll call it. Whatever your last 6 months, your last month, whatever. And Bo Nix did that, and it's got him, with his new baby and looking so cute and everything like that. And he's got a lot of great stuff going on. His wife Izzy, and so he's combing through that. Him with some friends, him with the baby, all this stuff, taking the baby for a walk. And but the very last slide on Instagram is him sprinting. All right. Now it was pointed out by sleuths like myself. That are zooming in on the trees, and it's like, wait, this couldn't have been from this week. There's no foliage on the trees. It looks like maybe, you're coming out of winter or whatever, or maybe even in December on one of those nice days that we got over and over and over again this winter. It's him sprinting. He's down in almost like he doesn't actually have sprinter blocks, but he's down and firing off. And it's interesting because all the other pictures are recent, or it's implied that they're recent. This one, the week that it is announced that he has another ankle surgery, is included in this. What did you make of Bo Nix and his social media?
Well, it was odd for a number of reasons. One, all the other stuff was clearly, hey, recent events in my life. Right, and it was all kid stuff and family stuff, and none of it was football related. But then at the very end, this is dumped on there in this photo/video dump that he knows exactly what the reaction is going to be to this. He heard all the chatter all week about, oh my God, he had a cleanup, he had a second surgery, not going to be ready now till training camp potentially, and all we had heard up to this point was everything went great. He's on schedule. He'll be back for off season. So he clearly put it out there to send a message. I just think the message is misleading. It's not a recent video of him running. Is that fair to say?
Oh, not only is it fair, I mean, it's just factual. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not since the cleanup procedure.
Well, definitely not. I mean,
Okay.
so let's just start there. Of course, it's not since the procedure. And I know some people, they just like take it on face value, like, look at my cue moving great or whatever. It's like, okay, definitely not, because we're hoping that Bo Nix is ready for day one of training camp.
But the intention was for people to have that reaction you just said. Look at my quarterback. He's out there running. He looks great. What's everybody all upset about? Well, that's not the current situation.
No, it's not.
And it's okay.
Right.
It's May. Right. It's May 4th. Yep. If you're not running around right now, it's not great, but it's certainly not the end of the world. Not even a concern. We got 3 months before it becomes an issue. But it begs the question, well, why are you trying to, and mislead sounds really nefarious, but that's the best word I can come up with. Why are you trying to mislead people? And who are you trying to mislead? Are you trying to mislead the fans? Are you trying to mislead the media? The other teams in the league? The Broncos, yourself?
James, I think that, and I know what you're saying, and I actually agree with you. I don't know if mislead is... Actually, it might be appropriate, actually, because it does... It feels like... See, and he has the plausible deniability because he's not saying anything, but he's putting it out, so it's up to you to interpret whatever he's trying to get across, but it's not recent, number one. We know that. But then it's like, well, how recent is it? So, oh, goodness. And I credit Drew. Drew, did you see this somewhere? Did you see it? Like did someone else point this out to you, or was this you identifying this?
I just happened to notice it because we were talking about, me and Will Peterson were out there in the lobby talking about it, and I just pulled it up to kind of see what he was talking about because everybody was talking about the leaves and stuff like that, and I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't add up. You can see the bubble from the Randy Ross Tennis Center in the background.
All right, so hold on. So let's just address the leaves first because we didn't get specific.
Okay.
So in the video, and we're in the trenches here, folks. We know that.
Yeah.
Like we know that. But I'll say this is a big deal. This is the franchise quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who an injury just prevented a trip to the Super Bowl, and the organization has approximately a $300 million decision to make on this young man 1 year from now, less than 1 year. So we know from the trees that it's not current. Was it in December, January? We don't know. But when Drew came in, and he came in during a break, he's like, this could have been from April, but maybe April of last year. Drew, go ahead and explain your thoughts, and then people can connect what you're saying with the video itself.
Yeah, so everybody knows that they built the new training facility and the weight rooms, the offices, all that really cool stuff kind of up on the hill where, you used to be able to sit for training camp, and they wrapped it around on the south side of the practice fields. Well, the way that it wraps around, it would block a lot of the views from what you see in the videos, because in this video, you see the Randy Ross Tennis Center, which is that big kind of beige, tannish bubble that you see in the background. There's an internet building that's right next to it. Well, when you watch this video, you can clearly see both the bubble and the office building clearly in that shot. And in my eyes, like, you wouldn't be able to see that if this was a new video, because it would be blocked by the brand new facility that the Broncos are days, weeks, whatever from opening. And you go to Google Maps and you kind of see the footprint of it.
Right.
And it was actually Apple Maps, right? So the footprint is like, yeah, there's absolutely no way if this were a fresh video that you would see either one of those two buildings. And yeah, you look at this thing and you can see it clear as day.
And basically that is all to say that this video could be 10 months old?
It could have been, yeah. I mean, the last time I was out there was in July, and we hadn't seen the building go wrapped around quite yet. But I drove by it yesterday. That building is clearly wrapped around what used to be the parking lot that was sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's completely different. There's no way that this video is less than, I don't know, 6 months old.
Yeah, and it's really it's funny because it's hard to really give pushback on it because it's like physical evidence.
Yeah.
And again, like physical evidence that leads to what? Well, just to say that it's not a recent video, it's implied by him, though, that it is recent.
Yeah, and look, misleading, the couple of times I've used that word, I always preface it with, I don't know if this is the best word, but I can't come up with another one because he knows what he's doing here. He knows what the reaction is going to be. He knows that's not a recent video of him running. and people are worried about him having a second surgery and whether or not he'll be ready for training camp. You put out a video of yourself sprinting. You don't think most people are going to be like, "Whoa, wait a minute!
Yeah.
Oh, he's okay, he's good."
Yeah.
So, but then it begs the question, and this is where I think it gets really interesting. It's like, well, why? What are you doing? Why is the message coming from the team so different than the message coming from Bo Nix since the end of the last year, since the ankle injury? We've seen this now multiple times. Who was he trying to convince? You're injured. You had a surgery. You had to have a second one. By all accounts, you're going to be ready for training camp. All good. Why do you have to go try to fool people?
Yeah, I think that maybe he's feeling just a little bit of nerves. That a narrative. Like, I think he's trying to craft his own narrative, is what I think. Bo had a big time issue when he felt like he was misrepresented by Sean Payton. And by the way, I think I would feel the same way if my head coach started talking about predisposed injuries and it was a matter of if, not when, and that stuff. And I think Sean was probably out of bounds about that into a microphone. But it also doesn't mean it's not true. And so one of the things that Bo, when he had that press conference saying that, I'm not predisposed, I'm not injury prone, and he feels like he needs to bat down that potential narrative, in that case, came from his own head coach. And I think that if you're a year away from really like generational wealth, and if he's smart with his money, he should be that way now anyway, but $300 million is different than $30 million. And so I think, I don't know, he's like doing whatever he can to sort of reset maybe the conversation around him. That's all I can think of, because I can't draw from anything else. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. I just think it's strange because ultimately how he plays this year and if he stays healthy this year is going to determine if he gets that $300 million deal from the Broncos. It's not going to be what he is or isn't doing in April. It just, not that it doesn't matter at all, but if he was fully healthy right now and got hurt week 6, that would hurt him. If he's hurt right now and he's fine all season, that's going to help him. Right now, it's kind of irrelevant.
I agree.
And the other misleading part, and I know people don't like when I bring up the previous quarterback, but do you remember when Russ posted the photo and he was shirtless at like some sort of resort?
Yeah, I remember it.
And it was like, woo.
Oh, yeah, big boy.
If 10 days later he posted a workout video and we came to find out it was 3 years earlier in Seattle and he was ripped with washboard abs, I think we would have criticized him for being misleading. How's this different?
Yeah,
he was afraid of the narrative.
Well, Russell wore out his welcome and didn't play good. Bo's new and has played great.
Okay, and you know what? That's the Jimmy Johnson thing, which is 100% right. The special teamer falls asleep in meetings and he cuts him.
Emmitt Smith
Jimmy,
falls asleep.
What would you do if it was Troy? I'd say, hey, Troy, wake up.
Wake him up.
I get that, but I also think we need to be a little bit fair here and be a little bit consistent. It just didn't seem like something that was necessary, needed, or appropriate. It's just odd to me. It's odd, and I think if somebody is that sensitive about the narrative in April and May, it makes me feel like, well, maybe there's something to the narrative.
Interesting. All right, this is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver, and KARS-FM Laramie. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with James Marilat, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, and we are The Drive, powered by Regen RX. That's when you're supposed to scream at the top of your lungs.
Oh, I didn't get that cue.
And Phil goes, woo! And a huge welcome to our friends up north, that Fort Collins area, a new affiliate of The Fan, expanding our reach. We love, and I've said this for years, love going up north. I know you're up there.
My neck of the woods.
Maybe not as far, but I mean, we have great listeners up there, long-standing members of Broncos country, Nuggets Nation, Avs faithful, all of it. So we are thrilled to be up north in your neck of the woods, James.
I mean, my kids play in the northern leagues, right? Like NOCO stuff. So I'm in Longmont and Loveland and Windsor and Fort Collins all the time. on weekends for whether it's 9-on-9 football or basketball or whatever. We're always up there, so it'd be nice when I can be driving around on the weekends. I can hear Dan Jacobs clear as a bell.
I love it.
That'd be nice.
I love it. All right, real quick before we shift gears, because I want to talk about the Nuggets, just to put a bow, no pun intended, on this Bo Nix conversation. I'm hopeful that everything's going to be all good, but I do think there's a reason he put out that video. All right, the exact source in his heart of hearts, I can't say exactly, but I think it's coming from a place that is under the same umbrella, this massive big picture umbrella that I'm concerned about. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and I understand that I'm in the minority here at the station, in the market, etc., about the big picture, long-term concerns with Bo Nix's ankles. And I think that my level of concern is matching his importance to the Denver Broncos. I think it's a big deal because he's a big deal. The Broncos wandered through the quarterback desert for a decade. They finally got one. And unfortunately, there was an injury that derailed the trip to the Super Bowl that matched up with two other major injuries in his football life. He's got two other additional cleanups. One that prevented him from the Pro Bowl after his rookie year, one that is going to prevent him from participating in the offseason with a new play caller, with a new star receiver. So I think there's some downside or consequence, not that he did anything wrong, to this latest cleanup or setback. And I think that when you have such a massive decision that is facing the franchise in less than a year, are you going to give him this $300 million contract extension? This guy's going to make $50 million a year. So I'm less worried about whether he's going to be ready for training camp day number 1 or week number 1. I'm sure he will be, but it's this, in my head, decade-long potential relationship between quarterback and organization that could be threatened if things continue to trend the way that they have here in just 2 short years. He's had more surgeries than years played for the Denver Broncos since he's been in Denver.
Yeah, I think you'd be naive not to be worried about it. I think the other side of the argument, though, is he's missed one game.
Yep,
it
I get
was
that too.
the most important game.
Kind of a big one.
Out of 37, though, he's missed one game. I don't know that it's standard operating procedure, but it's pretty normal after a season for guys to get cleanup stuff done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not an exception to the rule. It's pretty common.
Of course.
And so his injuries, other than this one where he had to miss the AFC title game, the back and then the ankle last year didn't prevent him from missing any time. This most recent ankle surgery didn't prevent him from missing any time. He may miss OTAs because of it and minicamp and maybe even a little bit of training camp. So it's like, okay, it just could be maintenance type stuff, cleanup type stuff, but...
Well, it can't be maintenance if you're missing a part of a football season's training camp when the injury happened in the previous football season.
I agree. So if we get to training camp and he's missing those valuable reps, which, by the way, you're right on that, and they beat you up about it
of course
every day.
Still. Of course I was.
If you're missing camp with new OC and a new receiver, as you mentioned, that's a big deal. They have training camp, they have OTAs, they have mini camps for a reason. It's not as though they're the biggest thing in the world, but they're not totally useless. Otherwise, why do they do them? That will be a concern. I think right now, would you give him a $300 million contract? I would. He's the 4th most important player in the history of the franchise.
He's the 4th most important. Let me see if I can name the other 3 in your mind. Well, one's John.
Yep.
One's Payton.
Yep.
And the other is, it's got to be your boo, Russ? No. I'm kidding.
It's the same position. It's the only...
Craig Morton?
No, well, you could maybe put Craig in that conversation, maybe. Jake Plummer and Bo Nix to me are pretty
Craig
similar
Morton
right
led the Broncos to a Super Bowl.
He did. I mean...
You got to throw him in there. Don't hold... Because he's too far in the rear view.
I mean,
I thought you were sitting in the south stands watching Craig Morton.
I was. North stands.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
Okay.
I mean, Craig, talk about riding a defense to the Super Bowl. He had a good AFC title game. He had 7 turnovers in the Super Bowl, but whatever. But anyhow, quarterbacks who made them contenders, right? They weren't a contender before Craig. Jake Plummer got them to an AFC title game, so he's in this conversation.
Okay.
I think Bo's right there with Jake because they've both been to AFC title games. Bo's younger. I think Bo at this point has more upside.
You could fairly argue that you're not going to get a lot of pushback from me. This is why I want to shift gears here, but this is why I'm concerned. His importance is so massive. You can make that argument. I just don't understand why it's there's nothing to see here moving forward when so
I don't think there's nothing to see here at all. I mean, I wake up at a 6 on the worry meter. You're at an 8 on this situation. I don't think you're off by much, if off at all. I just think it's very interesting because so far he really hasn't missed time,
right,
other than one very important game. But in terms of transitioning to what else you want to talk about, well, why are we talking about trading Aaron Gordon? Because he's hurt all the time.
Right.
But he missed games. He only played 36 games. But we've seen a pattern here now, 2 postseasons in a row, where it's been soft tissue injuries. It's been the calf. It's been the hamstring. And it starts to be like, okay, well, it's a lot of money to have tied up in a guy that the biggest ability is availability. And right now he's not available. So far, Bo hasn't missed games other than the one very important one. But you don't have to be Nostradamus to see this turning into, well, maybe he will miss games because of this chronic, repetitive issue.
Yes, and because as you well know, those things typically don't get better as you age, and especially when you're a dual threat quarterback. And so I asked Phil last week, like, okay, like you're not that concerned. There's been 5 surgeries. Like, what about a 6th one? Will a 6th one make? Okay, if not, what about a 7th one? Like, kind of that road. But with the Nuggets conversation, and I do want to shift gears here. The Gordon stuff, if you guys haven't seen it, Aaron Gordon is apparently being discussed in trade conversations. Now, Brett Siegel of Clutch Points put it out there over the weekend, quote, "The immediate belief surrounding Denver is that while the possibility of trading Gordon will be discussed, sources said it would take quite an offer to part with him. Gordon is not viewed as a salary dump option for the Nuggets entering the summer, and the only way they would consider trading him is if they were to retain key draft capital lost in previous trades, as well as another impactful starter." He says teams like Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and the Boston Celtics are among the many win-now teams Gordon would obviously fit in with as realistic trade suitors, end quote. Now, here's what I think needs to be mentioned in this conversation as well. Aaron Gordon's contract extension has not started yet. Has not even kicked in yet until this coming year. Obviously, he hasn't been available, and this is the ultimate 2 things are true at the same time, because his injury history recently has been frustrating and has really hurt the Denver Nuggets. From a seeding standpoint in the regular season, like as much as you say about we give quotes about Gabe Landeskog, what the record looks like with and without him, Aaron Gordon is so vital to everything that the Denver Nuggets do, for sure on offense, but doubly so on defense. And you saw how bad the rim protection was there in that first round when he's not like a rotating rim protector. I mean, it's abhorrent. It's so bad. It's the worst defense I've ever seen, worst rim defense I've ever seen for sure. But at the same time, he hasn't been available, and he's aging, and his game is predicated on athleticism. So this is a real pickle here, even for me, who he's my favorite player. As much as I bend the knee to Jokic's greatness, my personal favorite is Aaron Gordon. Man, this is it's tricky here, and I think it's going to be tricky for the organization to navigate.
It's a tough decision to make because you have to be too early with it than too late. If you're too late, you're not going to get any value for him, right? Like if this exact same thing happens each of the next 2 postseasons, you're just stuck with him. Nobody's going to take him. So if you're going to err, you got to err on being too early, and he goes to the Lakers and he plays 82 games next year and is completely healthy in the postseason, they'll be kicking themselves.
Right.
But you can't wait till it's painfully obvious that he's just not going to be there physically, because you're going to get 0 in return for him. You're just going to be stuck paying a guy who can't get on the floor. I don't like a lot about what I heard in that report, though. I don't like that they even mention it. It wouldn't be considered a salary dump. Why are the Nuggets in a conversation about salary dumps? Why? You don't hear that about other contenders.
Well, one, we're really close to this situation. So, I mean, we've seen someone like Boston just do it last year when they didn't think that they were going to compete at the highest level without Tatum. We've seen them make some decisions like that. We've seen other, but we're not as close to those, so we're not discussing them as much. But yes, when you're in a title window, that's the assumption that the Nuggets are. You shouldn't be hearing conversations as much as we do here.
Right. This isn't Indiana knowing it's a lost season because Halliburton's out. Right? Like the Nuggets should be a title contender next year.
Yeah.
If they have a good offseason, they should be a title contender next year. If they made the right coaching change, which doesn't sound like they're going to make any coaching change,
right,
they would be a title contender. So I don't like that, and I don't like the three teams that are mentioned. It's the Lakers, it's Boston, two teams, historically great franchises, contenders every single year, and Phoenix, the team that's a playoff team. Matt Ishbia thinks they're going to win a title with Devin Booker at some point. So they're certainly not playing for the future. They're in win now mode. So why are other teams that are in win now mode wanting Aaron Gordon? The Nuggets should be the definition of in win now mode. I don't know how long the window here is with Jokic, but it ain't a decade.
No.
So what are we doing? Like, they're going to be awful when Nikola Jokic retires. Fine. Let's worry about that at that point.
Sure.
So I just think you got to be.
So should this, in your opinion, is this a non-starter for you?
Unless somebody comes in and just blows me away. But I'm also the guy that I'm answering phone calls for Jokic. Now, it would take a crazy good deal, and this is a little bit playing fantasy basketball, but I think people who say he's off the table. Really, if San Antonio called and offered you Wemby, you wouldn't make that trade? So you can't say you're not taking any calls if I can come up with at least a hypothetical that you would take. Clearly, the Spurs aren't going to do that, but
yeah,
if somebody blows me away with the deal for Aaron Gordon, okay. If it's like the deal they just made this past offseason for MPJ, I'm hanging up the phone. Does anybody else want another Cam Johnson and enough maneuverability to get three guys who don't do squat in the postseason?
Well, you say that, but when the chips were down, I thought Cam Johnson was the best non-Jokic Denver Nugget with the season hanging in the balance.
He was, but I think that says more about his teammates than it says necessarily about him.
Well, I'll say this about Aaron Gordon specifically, and taking calls on Jokic for me would be a non-starter. We can talk more about that tomorrow because you're going to be in here tomorrow as well. We can expand on that conversation because I don't think you sound like a psychopath, but again, for me, it's a non-starter, so it's somewhere in between.
It's the most backhanded compliment I've ever received. I don't think you sound like a psychopath.
Let's set the floor there. But with Aaron, I do think you have to explore it as much as it pains me. I think you have to explore it. Not actively search for it, but if teams are calling, I think you have to at least consider it. Now, again, this is my favorite Denver Nugget. It stings. It stings. But good trades, they almost all sting. Good trades. And Aaron Gordon has not been close to healthy for years now. And I wanted to make sure I pointed out that his contract extension, all right, he signed a 4-year, $133 million extension back in 2024. That deal does not kick in till the 26-27 season. That's a 4-year deal. So you're talking about Aaron Gordon, who right now his game is predicated on athleticism, hasn't been healthy in years, hasn't played 16 consecutive games since the championship run, which, like, the next time you're going to have a crack at the NBA playoffs, it's going to be 2027. That's a presidential term away from the last time he played in 16 consecutive games, and that's when the deal is kicking in. So you would have Aaron Gordon for the 26-27 season in year 1, 27-28 season in year 2, 28-29 season in year 3, and 29-30 in year number 4. Again, it feels like a twisting knife in my stomach even talking about this, considering the regard I hold Aaron Gordon, but it's about the Denver Nuggets, and I think not picking up calls if the phone would ring. I think you have to be exploratory here.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm taking the phone calls, but the other part of what you read that bothers me is they're trying to recoup some draft capital. Okay, so
they've given so much away.
I get it, but okay, they're going to get a 2028 first-round pick. Is that guy ever going to contribute on a Nikola Jokic team?
Probably not.
And they're trading him to a team that's in win now mode, so you're going to be picking 24th.
Right.
It's not like you're getting a lottery pick here. Again, this is just playing the hypothetical. If somebody wants to call me and offer me 3 lottery picks for Aaron Gordon, okay, I would be interested in draft picks. But down the road, 2 or 3 years, a pick in the 20s, it just doesn't interest me at all. You would have to get me guys that, okay, I think we can rebuild what we're losing Aaron Gordon in the aggregate, right? Playing a little money ball here. Okay, we got 3 guys or 2 or 3 guys that maybe don't do anything as well as AG did, but when you put them all together, we're going to get that type of production. Okay, maybe. And then they can contribute now, and they're actually going to be on the floor for 70-plus games, and most importantly, they're going to be on the court in April. Okay, then I would maybe consider it. But, man, you'd have to blow me away to make that move. You really would. More so than Jamal Murray. I think you can get more for Jamal Murray.
You can right now. You can. You will get the most from Jamal Murray.
Then that's the trade they should make.
And you want to know what? Shams Charania today going on ABC saying, quote, they're going to get calls and listen to calls on everyone on the roster besides Nikola Jokic, end quote. And that's what it should be. This team is not close. And James, I raised my hand. I really thought that this team on paper could be the best team that they've had in the Jokic era. I legitimately believe that. And I was just wrong. Just dead red wrong.
And look, Minnesota had more injuries, so this isn't an excuse. But the evaluation the Nuggets have to make is, are they close? If Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson play, are they playing tonight in Game 1 against San Antonio?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
So then the question becomes, well, will those guys be healthy?
You're saying with the current roster that they played in Minnesota with the injuries?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, even
they're playing
let's say neither team has injuries. Nuggets still would have been favored in every game if they were totally healthy.
Yeah. I would agree, yeah.
And we'd still be upset they're not playing tonight.
For sure.
If they'd had two injuries, if AG and Peyton Watson had missed games and the Timberwolves had no injuries, some people would give them a free pass and give them an excuse. But given how it all turned out, especially if they'd have been healthy, they'd be playing tonight. I think they would have had a great chance, fully healthy, to beat San Antonio. And then you're getting to Oklahoma City and you're playing them in the final. That, to me, sounds like a team that on paper is close. So it begs this question, though. Anthony Edwards is playing tonight.
Right. Crazy.
For Minnesota.
Crazy.
Why do the Nuggets, every time they have a guy injured, it's we'll reevaluate him in 4 weeks? Like, is there a training staff issue here?
Well, David Adelman said we need to look at everything, and the first thing that he said was the training staff.
All right. I mean, it's one of the things Sean Payton wanted to look at.
Sure.
It's one of the things Greg Penner wanted to look at.
Sure.
And if you're an owner, in a salary cap sport, you just can't outspend everybody when it comes to players. You can get creative with signing bonuses and things like that.
Yeah. And you can win on the margins, and you can win on the margins in this sport in the NBA, but KSC chooses not to.
Okay. But then that's what ends up happening. You have two of your four best players, and I think AG's their second best player. I think Jamal's third. You can make the argument Peyton Watson's their fourth best player.
Oh, you could make that argument, yeah.
So two of your four best players didn't play.
Which is, again, though, when you talk about how you got here, well, you can really unpack this thing, and I have, and will continue to Tim Connolly's departure. But when you talk about Peyton Watson being the fourth best player on the team, you signed Christian Brown to a 5-year, $125 million contract. He should be in more of a conversation of stacking up in terms of the top 4 or 5 best players. I don't know if he is, though. I mean, this whole thing, this idea that, hey, blow the Nuggets up, it is so easy to tweet or say into a microphone, but when you actually start game theorying the exercise, Aaron Gordon, you're not going to get anywhere close to what you think.
Correct.
Okay? Christian Brown, it would be pennies on the dollar. You would have to attach stuff to have an organization take on that contract. The problem is, in the current NBA right now, under the new CBA, which is we're in the year 3 with this thing, it punishes you for major mistakes. It punishes you. The lack of flexibility in this new era of NBA basketball for a contract like Christian's, you would need to send, 2 first-round draft picks to go with Christian Brown somewhere else. So this idea that you're going to make a bunch of these moves and be super active and the pieces coming in for a win-now window are better than what you currently have, I don't even know about that.
So, I don't know about it either, which is why you should make the move that costs you nothing but money. And that's at head coach. Do you think they're playing tonight if Tom Thibodeau's their coach? Billy Donovan?
Probably, yeah.
Steve Kerr?
I'm not.
Michael Malone? Zach Bye and the 7-year-old team?
I'm not a David Adelman quote-unquote fan. Not saying anything about him personally. I mean, he's probably a great guy, but I didn't think it was the right hire then. I certainly don't think it's the right move now, although that is exactly what we're hearing. over the weekend. Shams Charania came out and said this.
David Adelman, their head coach, he is going to be back. His job is safe. The second order of business for the Nuggets this offseason is securing a long-term commitment from Nikola Jokic. He's eligible for a contract extension, 4 years, $290 million plus. The expectation on both sides is Nikola Jokic will be signing that when he's eligible in July, and they're going to move forward. But beyond that, there's going to be real roster changes coming to Denver to identify how they can surround Nikola Jokic with the right pieces to get this team over the top. Nikola Jokic said after that series loss against Minnesota, we're far away. We just lost in the first round. So they're going to get calls and listen to calls on everyone on the roster besides Nikola Jokic.
All right, we will continue this conversation coming up next.
The Nuggets season is over as the shorthanded Timberwolves send the Nuggets home. Jamal Murray, nowhere to be found. Jaden McDaniels jawed all series, then proved it on the floor. This was supposed to be a run. Instead, it's an embarrassment. And now as banners fade and questions roar, are franchise-altering changes coming to the Mile High City? This offering promises chaos, tough decisions, and a radically different future. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great, I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close in as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. One manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting for seriously injured car accident victims in Colorado. Serious accidents demand serious representation. We dig into every detail of your case, and we don't back down until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a car accident, call the Wilhite Law Firm today at 303-GOOD-LAW or visit wilhitewins.com. That's 303-GOOD-LAW or visit wilhitewins.com.
At some point, you stop calling it pain and start calling it just how I am now. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, shoulder, hips, and lower back. And now they're moving, sleeping, golfing, running without surgery or long recoveries. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. And now's the time, because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. So this isn't a I'll get around to it situation. Right now is the right time, and the first step doesn't cost you a thing. QC Kinetics, better starts here. Schedule your free consultation by calling 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986 with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs. It is QC Kinetics.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, just to finish up the conversation that we were just having about the Denver Nuggets, because it did come out over the weekend that Adelman is keeping the job. And James Marilat with us, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. James will also be here tomorrow. The show has flown by. Not that it's over, but bottom half of hour number 4. Appreciate you guys rocking with us here on a Monday. Covered a lot of ground. Talked a lot about the Avalanche. Talked about Bo Nix's video on Instagram that is just, it's its own little can of worms. It's its own little can of worms. But the Nuggets, obviously a big part of our conversations today. Comes out over the weekend. ESPN Shams Charania. We played the audio for you going into the previous break that Adelman's going to be back for year number 2. And I'm not so sure this is the wisest move on behalf of the organization, but it was predictable because this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a shame. But I guess the way I look at it is, if they had Tom Thibodeau coaching him, if they had Billy Donovan coaching him, maybe even if Michael Malone was coaching him, I don't buy that because they had a lot of bad performances in the playoffs under Michael Malone. If they traded coaching staffs with Minnesota, we played that hypothetical earlier, we all say, hey, they'd be playing tonight against San Antonio. So that's the first part of it. Second part of it is if they were healthy, and I get it, Minnesota had a lot of injuries too, probably more because their best player was hurt.
Yeah, for sure more.
But if they were healthy, they'd be playing tonight and would have a good chance to beat San Antonio in this series with the right coach. Then to me, it's like, well, if all those things are true, if they would have won with a different coach, if they would have won when they were healthy,
can I add one
then
more?
Is it the roster? Yeah. What?
Yeah, no, and I know I shared it before, but it bears repeating in this exact moment. If every single team in the NBA had a chance to make a for free trade with their current coach and David Adelman, how many other organizations would make that trade? And I believe with conviction, the answer is exactly 0.
So if nobody else wants your coach, Why are you bringing him back? And you're going to blow up this roster, or you're going to trade away key players. You're going to trade away Mr. Nugget. You're going to trade away the first all-star that Nikola Jokic has played with. Those are the two most likely candidates.
It's true.
You know, who knows what happens with Peyton Watson? Maybe your fourth best player walks out the door. Like, that's going to be your answer as opposed to just bringing a competent coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like a miss to me.
Well, this is for right or for wrong, for good or for bad, this is how the Nuggets organization has operated historically, that they do not prioritize coaches and executives. Full stop. That's not an opinion. It's just a fact. Now, they were validated in that process when you go win a championship. And when you do, you can almost feel bulletproof that your way is the best way. And it wasn't just the Nuggets. It's the Avs. It's the Rams. Like, they have real pelts on the wall. But that also doesn't mean that that is the right approach for this exact intersection in the history of this franchise.
Yeah, but I don't know that I would use the Rams in that example. They have arguably the best coach in the NFL.
Sure.
He's in the conversation.
Sure.
And Les Snead is in the conversation for among the best GMs.
Yeah.
They haven't seen a head coach or a GM leave for more money somewhere else.
Correct.
So the NFL is kind of a different deal. Like, they're just printing money at that point. So and quite frankly, I don't care what happens in LA. I don't. I don't care what happens with Arsenal. It's immaterial to this conversation. I care about how Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke run the teams that are here. And you've let two really good GMs leave. Tim Connolly is a guy that, if Tim Connolly got fired tomorrow by Minnesota.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Well, here's the thing. I'm glad you said that on a day like today, because we have recently found out, and when I say recently found out, I believe it was Friday, that the Mavericks wanted Tim Connolly. Now, that is noteworthy of a team, because they just, by luck, drafted the best prospect in years, along with Wembanyama here, Cooper Flagg. So Cooper Flagg's probably one of the, call it since, I don't know, let's go 15 years. He's probably one of the 3 or 4 best prospects that we've had coming out of college in
That's
15
fair.
years. Wembanyama, Cooper Flagg, Zion, and pick another. So they're building around this quote-unquote generational process or a prospect who flashed in year number 1, by the way, and they wanted Tim Connolly. And they couldn't get him. So who they hire today? Masai Ujiri. So the Mavericks, in a very important window of time where they're trying to build around this generational prospect, wanted the last 2 guys that the Denver Nuggets didn't value enough to retain their services.
I get it. And, yeah, you can make the argument that the Nuggets and Avs have proven that the Kroenkes are right because they've won, each won a title in the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, well, that also just dismisses the fact that they probably should have won more and certainly should have been at least close to winning another one, and they haven't been. The other thing is, while they've owned these franchises, they've seen how important a coach can be. They fired Jeff Bzdelik, brought in George Karl, went 32-8 in his first 40 games. George Karl, they were the number one. George Karl coached in the All-Star game. I believe it was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
It was the year after they went to the Western Conference Finals because the Nuggets were the number 1 seed in a Western Conference that featured Kobe Bryant and the Lakers,
right,
the defending champs.
Right.
Then George Karl gets cancer. They get bounced in the first round because Adrian Dantley is their coach.
Mm.
And especially with that group, man, you needed the right guy at the helm because a lot of talent on that team, but a lot of egos, and it turns into JR and Kenyon are fighting because we're putting popcorn in cars and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
The other thing is with the Avs, they saw a coach leave and go win how many cups in Chicago? How many cups did Joel Quenneville win with the Blackhawks?
I think 3. Yeah.
Okay. So instead, and look, Jared Bednar's a nice guy, but when they hired him from the Lake Erie Monsters, there were a grand total of 0 other NHL teams interested in him.
Well, now, just to tell that full story, it was very late in the process where Patrick Waugh bailed on the what was there, a month before the season started?
I get it, but over and over and over again, Michael Malone, David Adelman, Jared Bednar, among the 5 lowest paid coaches in their respective sport when they were hired?
When they were hired, oh, for sure, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and we've gone through McKinnon, McCarr, Landeskog. You had Rantanen. The Avs for the last 6 or 7 years have been either the prohibitive favorite to win the cup or in the top 2 or 3.
They have.
They've been outside of the second round once.
Yep. That's going to change here over the next month.
And that was a big exception. They won the cup.
Right. And that's the ultimate. 2 things are true. I mean, like, yeah. No,
but they should know better. From their own history, their own experience, and instead they want to take the evidence that proves they're right instead of looking at all the evidence that proves they're wrong.
The cardinal sin here, in my opinion, it's not bringing back Adelman for year number 2, although I don't think it's advisable. It was letting Tim Connolly walk out of the door to go take a lateral move with the same job title just for more money.
In Minnesota. It's not like he got a job with the Lakers or the Celtics.
I know.
It's Minnesota.
And the cruel irony, now that's the team that you can't beat. Even if you were to handpick a guy that wouldn't play in the series, you still can't beat him.
Okay, but Zach, that's even more evidence right in their face. That's the guy you let leave. And why did they let Tim Connolly leave? There's only one answer.
Oh, it's finances.
Money.
No one disputes that. James, no one disputes that.
And that guy keeps kicking your butt in the playoffs, and you can't see that, hey, maybe cutting corners here and being cheap isn't the way to go? How much evidence do they need?
If you could change one thing, let me speak for myself. If I could change one thing that has happened in the Nikola Jokic era, it is letting Tim Connolly walk out the door. And here's the thing. I think that Josh Kroenke here, hopefully, and unfortunately, like the recent evidence of bringing back Adelman doesn't suggest that this is the case. But at a certain point in time, in a private moment with his own self, you got to look in the mirror and admit that that was a severe miscalculation.
Well, and it's even more important for this organization to have the right guys at the top in terms of front office and head coach when your owner is an absentee owner. It is. You got to have the right guys that are there that you can be gone and leave them in charge, and everything's going to be fine. Because how did it work when it was Calvin Booth and Michael Malone?
It didn't.
It was a disaster.
It was.
Could you have left Tim Connolly in charge and gone over to London and done whatever in the heck you want to go do over there with your soccer team?
Of course. Of course.
So all the more reason you have to have the right guys. Instead, you have a head coach. If the head coach wouldn't be hired by any other team in the NBA,
yeah,
do you think the players in the locker room are going to respect that guy and what he has to say?
I don't have enough evidence that was the case. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's
I
rough.
don't have evidence that was the case. I'm just saying over the course of time, this is only going to get worse.
I'm agreeing with you.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. The Bednar thing that has evolved, we've never seen eye to eye on Bednar. I think he's a great coach, but we shall see here over the next 5-6 weeks. I think this team's going to go win the cup, and I hope that with Bednar specifically, because these conversations splinter, I hope that he gives you enough evidence over the next 6 weeks to really change your mind.
Me too. But we also have had enough evidence in this town how much ownership matters. Look at the Broncos.
There's no better example.
I mean, it's the prime example, right? And, you can go down to a Nuggets game, and you can look up there where it used to be the press box and the big area up there and see how many times at a Nuggets game that place is completely empty. When you have an absentee owner, hey, he's the billionaire. He can do whatever he wants. You better have people who are grown-ups and know what they're doing in charge if you're not going to be around man in the store.
On the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043, I hope this is a long con of getting Steve Kerr. It's just please expunge it from your thought process. It's never going to happen. Steve Kerr is not coming to join the Denver Nuggets. You want to know what his last 2-year extension was in Golden State? His last 2-year extension, $35 million.
Yeah, that's outside the price range.
0% chance Steve Kerr is coming. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, what did we learn today in Denver sports? That's how we'll finish up. Coming up next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
For over a decade, Bluebird Windows and Doors of Denver has been servicing the Front Range with products built to withstand Colorado's unpredictable weather. Bluebird's Sunrise Collection windows are built to last a lifetime and are backed by strong warranties. Right now, buy 3, get 1 free through May. Mention you heard about Bluebird from me, Mike Evans. You'll save an additional 5%. Enjoy the outdoors through energy-efficient Bluebird windows. Visit gobluebirdco.com. Bluebird Windows and Doors. Make today a Bluebird day.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shaft.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040. Really proud of this case that we just settled. There was a young man very seriously injured. In fact, I had to go to the hospital and meet with him and his family. And we checked with the insurance companies while I was at the hospital, and they claimed no insurance coverage on either side. And on top of that, he had no medical insurance. So he was going to be facing about $400,000 in medical bills. And I said to the family, I said, I cannot make you any promises, but I know no other lawyer is going to touch this case because the insurance companies say they won't pay. But I want to try. Let me at least try. And I put my team at 303 Law 4040 on it, and they found $75,000 in insurance coverage that the insurance companies did not want to pay. So not only do we get them $75,000, but we also found a way to get them on Medicaid. So the $400,000 in bills was covered by medical insurance as well. We were proud. We fought for them. We'll fight just as hard for you if you ever need us. The number's 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need us. It's 303 Law 4040.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Tired of or fearful of hearing no? Let us say yes. We can help you get your loan approved with our expanded guidelines, less than perfect credit okay, high debt to income ratios, and more. Call U.S. Mortgages at 303 Low Rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
If you're considering sedation dentistry and want to learn more about it, Clarkson Dental can help. When it comes to your health, you want to make sure you know all the details. The highly trained professionals at Clarkson Dental have your answers. Learn more at Colorado sedation.com.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, final segment here on a Monday. What did we learn today in Denver sports? Man, this is cool. Someone just sent in Lucas on the RamosLaw.com text line. Good to see you last night, Zach. Me and my buddy David were hype. Also, my first Avs game, and they sent in a picture that we took in the lobby of the game.
Very cool.
That was, I'll tell you this. I love our listeners so much. It was so cool that, my father-in-law, he's 71 years old, and call him Pop, and passionate sports fan, but had never been to a professional hockey game. And my son had been begging me to go to a playoff game. He had never been to a playoff game. And then my father-in-law had never been to a professional hockey game. So I sprung for tickets. It wasn't cheap. We sat in the lower bowl, but my thought was, I'm like, I'll always be able to put back the money. This is just a memory. And the reality is that, and this is the way that I see it, life is very rarely are our days this big, grand, altering, redefining. That's not what life is. Life is made up of these little days and little decisions to go to the game or not. And we went to the game, man, last night, and I'm telling you, 3 generations, and I know he's my father-in-law, not my father, but it was so special to see my 7-year-old who we let stay out late. He's normally going to bed 7:38. That game's not ending till whatever time that it did, not getting home till whatever time that we did. We let him stay home from school today, and they're actually at the Mets-Rockies game right now.
He is living his best life.
Priorities, right? You don't need to go to school in May.
Exactly.
Go to the baseball game. But we had such a special time. But it was cool that, and this is niche, but just to get the thought out of my head because I'm thankful. To be walking through the mezzanine of Ball Arena and get stopped by the guy who's doing the tickets and knows my son's name because of the show, and to get stopped in the hallways by listeners, and to watch my father-in-law watching this, you know what I mean? People that I've never met before saying, hey, I love your show, listen every day, you and Phil. It was so cool. And it made me feel really good, to someone. For sure. So my father-in-law seeing that was like, wow, like they, someone would recognize you, and it was so special. The whole night was just bang on for so many reasons, but that part was sweet.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And look, it's not cheap to get into these games by any means, but those kind of memories, they're pretty priceless, right? And 20 years from now, you'll remember that. Your son will remember that. If your father-in-law is still alive at 91, he'll remember it.
Yep.
I'm not saying the money doesn't matter, but you won't remember what you spent.
No.
And you would not have remembered what else you would have spent that money on, if that makes sense.
No,
whatever
not.
that total was, whatever you would have bought with it, you'd have never remembered it.
No, and I'm not someone who a chunk of my paycheck every week goes to buy new clothes or new shoes. I just don't live like that.
Yeah.
I want to look nice, but that's just not where I put my resources. It's like that. It's like a life experience. It's an occasion, On the YouTube chat, which is now sponsored by Champ Honda, what was your favorite part of the game last night? I think we might even agree, the pass from Val Nichushkin, which led to the Blankenberg goal.
Yep.
Was so filthy. The touch on that pass and to keep that puck flat across the face of 2 defenders, both are reaching out their sticks trying to get it, and you put that thing right on his tape. That was just next level for me.
Yeah, and there were a lot of great moments and, plays that just made you say, wow. I mean, both of McCarr's goals were that way. Kadri's goal was that way. There were even a couple plays by the Wild where you're like, damn, that was pretty impressive. But the moment that made me get off my couch the most was the Val pass. It was just incredible. And then Blankenberg, he had to finish it too, right? You make that pass and then you don't finish it.
Right.
He had to control the puck and make a nice bang play. But then he goes jumping up into
the glass. That was so cool.
And it's like the guy on the other side of the glass kind of did the same. Like the whole thing was just perfect. So yeah, that was my moment.
And that was his first playoff goal, Blankenberg. So you saw the emotion burst out of him there. Just absolutely love to see it. 9-6. Did not have that on my bingo card. That was nuts. You could go, it was the first game ever in the history of the NHL playoffs that a team was up by 3 goals, ended up trailing, and then go on to win by 3 goals. Just psychotic.
It was crazy. We'll be previewing Game 2 tomorrow. I think it's safe to say we won't see anything quite like that again.
No. All right, we will leave it there for now. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Monday. We'll be back tomorrow on a Tuesday previewing Game 2 of Avs and the Wild. We'll get into more Denver Nuggets conversations, and I can't wait to be back here. The show flew by. Thanks for being here. We step aside. It's Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
Colorado takes Game 1 with authority. The Avalanche put up 9 goals and outpaced the Wild 9-6, setting the tone early in the series. Colorado's offense stayed aggressive all night, answering every Minnesota push and controlling the pace when it mattered. It's one game, but it's an important start. The Avalanche grabbed the opener and headed to Game 2 with a lead in hand. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there. If you've been wandering around the house lately, wondering why you're tired, foggy, unmotivated, all right, gaining weight, even though your diet isn't that bad, guys, a lot of folks blame it on just getting older. But let's be honest, you shouldn't feel like you need a nap after tying your shoes. And if your workouts feel more like warm-ups, your sleep is trash, your sex drive is in the witness protection program, yeah, it might be time to get checked. All right, at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, they use advanced medical strategies. I'm talking TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more to help you get your energy back, improve sleep, boost your workouts, shed pounds, all right? Your appointment is just $99. That includes a medical consult, a T and PSA test, and if you start treatment that day, your visit's free, all right? So go take the low T quiz online, all right? It's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That quiz will take you less than 2 minutes. So you can start a conversation, just pick up the phone, 720-440-7900, or simply go online, RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th.
As a mother myself, I'll tell you, she is not going to remind you. She is way too busy being mom.
Which is why we are. Make your Mother's Day unforgettable with a little something truly special from Williams Jewelers.
Prices start at under $500, and we have thousands of fine jewelry choices from names she knows and loves, like Gabriel & Company, Tacori, and Hearts on Fire.
How about a beautiful diamond cross or a precious sterling or solid gold locket?
A Monica Rich Kassan locket with the kids' pictures inside will become a family heirloom she'll cherish for life. We promise.
This Mother's Day, come home to family.
Come home to Denver's first family of fine jewelers, Williams Jewelers.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue between Fillmore and Detroit, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now,